Well, howdy, friends and floorheads and true believers. Welcome to New Eden. It's a gleaming city of tomorrow, nestled in the heart of central Texas, a shining oasis rising from the desert, envied by the world for its innovation, wealth, and ambition. But shadows grow longer beneath the polished skyline. The glow of progress hides the dark corners where no one dares to look. The Forge is a district isolating and holding the lurkers, who are other dimensional pariahs. Corporate greed, oligarchs, haves and have nots. In this tale of Marvel Comics inspired action, we will meet four extraordinary individuals who fight to keep New Eden and their favorite neighborhood, the Furnace, safe from masked and unmasked threats. They soar through the skies, swing between the buildings, and stand tall against villains. And they shine a bright light when the city's future is on the line. But being a hero isn't just about a mask and a cape. It's about the people beneath them as well. We will follow our heroes as they balance daring rescues and bone-shattering fights with the quieter battles of their secret identities, jobs, family, personal struggles, and the weight of leading double lives. New Eden may be a beacon of hope, but it's a city that tests its protectors. These heroes will learn that saving the day doesn't always mean the fight ends when the villains fall. So buckle up because it's a game of action, identity, courage, and consequence.
Testing, testing. Can you hear me, Truth Keepers? I've sliced into this lame stream media feed to bring you the light. This is your truth flare, your fact siren, the spotlight. I shine a light on the darkest corners so capes or even lurkers can't hide. Now listen close, Truth Keepers, because tonight we've got a double dose of the real story behind tomorrow's Innovators Expo. They want you to believe it's all about shiny gadgets, progress, and the so-called future of technology. But I ask you this, what future and for who? Rumor on the street is that certain masked menaces might be cozying up to the biggest tech giants in New Eden, making deals in the shadows while you're distracted by flashing lights and blinking gizmos. And that's not all. Some say tomorrow's big reveal could be more than a spectacle. It's a smokescreen, a cover for something much, much bigger. Stay tuned, Truth Keepers. We'll crack this wide open after a word from our sponsor, Supers Proof Prepper Bunkers. Remember, if you aren't watching the light, you're lost in the dark.
Well, it was supposed to be the intro video that I spent a ton of time making and didn't work. So it is morning on a Saturday in Bellows Glen, the recently revitalized part of the Furnace District. Yeah, gentrification happens even in New Eden. Bellows Glen hums with quiet, comfortable energy, a far cry from the chaos and the grime of the Furnace. It's just outside those borders. The streets are lined with rows of brick townhomes, walk-ups, and the wrought iron railings and tidy apartment blocks, each adorned with modest gardens and faded banners from the summer's art fair. Cafes spill out onto the sidewalk with mismatched tables where hipsters sip artisanal coffee while sketching or tapping a chunky 90s laptop. Vinyl shops and secondhand bookstores nestle between corner grocers and record-themed laundromats, offering small havens of nostalgia. The hum of a district traffic and the soft music drifting from open windows gives this district a lived-in warmth, as if the people here are determined to carve out beauty and meaning amidst New Eden's relentless climb to the future. I want to paint the scene. Z, what do you notice on the streets of Bellows Glen that makes it obvious it's trying to separate itself from the Furnace District?
I think it's an over reliance on plants, these planters that are everywhere. It's just trying to cover up anything that looks remotely unclean or dirty with these planters. Everything is painted new. It's as if it's just trying to hide its original self. Just it's still underneath that facade.
Lou, what do you notice that tells you it was once a downtrodden and bleak as the rest of the furnace is just a decade ago?
If you look up, so everything street level looks okay. But if you look up, you see all the cracks and crumbling facades on all of the buildings. And just like Z said, like it's painted from like 10 foot down, like whitewashed, and everything else is crumbling above.
Now, the morning sun streams through the kitchen window, casting a golden glow across the cozy interior of one of Bellow Glen's townhomes. This kitchen is tidy but lived in, with cheerful yellow curtains framing the windows and a soft hum from the old refrigerator in the corner. A round dinette table, slightly scuffed from years of use, sits in the center of the room, surrounded by mismatched but well-loved chairs. A half-empty box of Zap Flakes is on the table. The front of the box features a neon lightning bolt cartoon mascot among the glow of the sunlight. And there's a 7-year-old girl sitting with her legs swinging as she absentmindedly spoons the sugary cereal into her mouth. She's reading the back of the box intently, a tiny furrow of focus on her brow, utterly at ease in this warm, safe space that smells faintly of toast and the lingering hint of her parents' coffee. Another paint the scene, Dan. What in the kitchen tells you that a man does most of the cooking here?
I guess the sink is filled with dirty dishes.
Definitely piled up. Absolutely love it. And for you, Dika, the last paint the scene question. What makes it obvious that this little girl is loved and cared for by her parents?
Oh, I think it's in a way that she carries herself. It's in that no worries. I get to live full life as a child. That effortless just youth that exuberates from her.
So behind her, a man, tall, handsome, steps into this tiny kitchen and kisses the top of her head. He says, Ava, you better hurry up and finish that bowl. Your mom is almost ready, and going to the Innovators Expo was your idea. And Ava looks up at him. Daddy, do you think my pocket helper will win the Gizmo Gauntlet contest this year at the Expo? Ethan Gray kind of shrugs his shoulders and says, you have a good chance, kiddo. But next time, I need you to ask before you take apart one of my pagers. He turns and he goes, Grace, are you almost ready? The subway to the Riverview District only runs every hour, and the Pinnacle Center is 4 blocks from the stop.
I've been ready for 15 minutes now. I was giving Ava time to relax.
So we can go ahead and go?
Oh, yes, we can.
And he kind of pulls you aside, Grace, and he says, do you have to bring that? He's pointing to the pager on your hip. Just for today, honey.
Nothing will happen. It's just in case. I won't leave. I promise the world will be okay even if I do get a page.
Okay, this is important for Ava.
Yes, I'm aware.
So I need you engaged, honey, the whole day.
Yep.
No wandering
trying.
off.
Nope. Stay with family. No wandering off. Put on a smile.
I think we see a montage of the 3 of you leaving your little townhome in the Glen, going to the subway, riding quietly on the subway. Eva's little legs swinging on the subway chair. She's so proud of her little gizmo for this contest at the expo. And then we watch you get to Riverside and head to the expo. Speaking of Riverside, it is still late morning on a Saturday. The New Eden's Innovator Tex Expo opens today at the Pinnacle Center. An older man and 2 high school kids are walking in the Riverview district on their way to the convention. The sidewalk lines the Eden Stream River, a marvel of engineering, a man-made river running through New Eden as proof that the city is an oasis in the desert center of Texas. The Riverview District is New Eden's bustling convention and entertainment hub. It is sleek, polished district designed to impress visitors and locals alike. The towering Pinnacle Center in Riverview is the center of the district. It has a glass facade reflecting the city's ambition. Paint the scene for me, Lou. What about the Pinnacle Center's design makes it look like an alien might have made it?
So everything has curved edges. The entire place. There's not a single sharp corner. The hallways all curve. The ceiling has curves and it like waffles around. But yeah, there's not a single straight corner in the place.
Dika, another one for you. What detail tells you that the builders might have run out of money and just did their best to finish this place?
So you will see kind of 2 different materials that was used to create it. One very, very much expensive, and then it fades into like something you can find around a corner, but they painted it to kind of look like the more expensive material.
I really love that. That's good. Modern hotels with glowing marquees line the streets, offering luxury suites for the business travelers and families. Wide sidewalks are dotted with coffee kiosks, food trucks, and banners for the expo and the tech it's going to reveal. Upscale restaurants, themed bars, and buzzing lounges are nestled among the sleek plazas and shimmering fountains. The Riverview District feels modern, clean, and perpetually on, catering to the city's commercial and tech-forward identity. Z, paint the scene for me. How do the big bankers' wallets in the Spire make sure everyone knows that they built this district?
Oh, there is so many murals painted on the walls that are like flowery, but they all have bank logos in them. They look really nice from a distance if you don't look too close, but when you look into it, there's always a symbol of that bank and that bank and that bank. And even in some of the coffee shops, occasionally you see a portrait of one of the people hanging in there, like patron of the month and such fun things.
Dan, one for you. What does the conspiracy hound, the Spotlight, claim is the real reason the firms that run the Spire built this district?
Oh. Well, they made an artificial river, so maybe they needed to dig and they unearthed something. And they made a river so we can't sneak in. So maybe there's another ground or underwater lab.
Interesting. So the Spotlight claims that building this entire district was to cover the fact that they needed to dig inside of the city to create this river. Absolutely perfect. Now, one of the teens walking on the sidewalk carries a strange helmet-like device made from a camcorder viewfinder, cardboard, duct tape, Walkman headphones, and a Nintendo Power Glove. On the side of the box, the words MegaView 9000 are written in marker. The young man holding this invention turns to the older gentleman. You see, Dr. McCoy, the MV9000 is the gaming system of the future. When you wear it, you can play like you're in the game, not just looking at a TV. And do you think if I win the Gizmo contest, do you think someone like Wilhelm White or maybe even Justin Jacobs would buy the idea off of me? Professor McCoy grins. He's in a simple blue suit with thick glasses. The lines on his face are both from living for 60 years and spending 35 of them teaching teenagers the beauty of science. Stevie, are you sure Benjamin didn't help you? Before Stevie can answer, the professor turns to the other young man. Benjamin, did you help Stevie with this?
Of course not.
You're sure?
It would have. Yeah, absolutely. Fingers crossed behind my back.
And as the three of you are walking towards the expo along the river.
Just for the name.
Yeah, but you came up with the name?
Together. It's a team thing.
And Stevie's looking at you, afraid to say anything because he's not quite sure what story you're telling right now, and he wants to make sure he doesn't contradict you. So he's just like staring at you as you're talking to Professor McCoy.
You've got this, Stevie.
It's so cool. It's so cool. Professor McCoy turns to you, Benjamin, and goes, why didn't you build something for the expo?
Yeah, didn't have time. Next year, maybe.
Yeah, you're not coming by my office as much as you used to. I worry about you. You're just for the past 6 months or so, it just seems like you're disconnected. Everything all right?
I'm handling it. You don't need to worry about me.
But you can talk to me.
Thank you, but I'm okay.
And if that changes, you'll let me know?
Yeah.
So we see the three of you go towards this huge glass building, the Pinnacle Center, entering the expo. Now, the cavernous main hall of the Pinnacle Center hums with excitement and the low whir of all the different technologies. Gleaming white floors reflect banners boasting, "Welcome to the New Eden Innovator Techs Expo. The future starts now," in bold, almost unreadable futuristic fonts. Booths and displays stretch across the space, showcasing the cutting-edge 90s technology. Sleek computers with massive CRT monitors, blinking light panels, robotic arms waving in programmed rhythms, and gadgets promising that they'll change the world. Z, paint the scene for me. There's one booth with no traffic. Why?
There is a booth without any traffic. I think it's an organization that tries to more or less warn about the environmental cost of technology. They're trying to hand out flyers, and they barely manage to pay the booth price to get in there, and nobody wants to just yeah.
We've
We're
got these
having fun here.
gleaming, expensive booths and this little handmade Fisher Price My
Yes.
First booth with like a marker banner on it.
Absolutely, with neon colors on there. Yep, it's hanging a little crooked, and there's just this one woman like trying to hand out flyers to everyone, and you see like further down, just a few feet, they're on the floor.
Do you know how many people get black lung so this much metal can be used to build a place like this? And they're trying to hand out flyers. Dika, there's one booth that makes you wonder if the company behind it exploits the lurkers or their mirror dimension. Why?
I think it's one of those booths where it talks about traveling, seeing where the others live. It's like trying to have a startup traveling company, but also with like a mission statement that says, for lack of a better term, kind of like we're excited to move to this location that we know exists so we can have all the resources.
Amazing.
Wow.
Dan, there's a sign for the Junior Gizmo Gauntlet contest. And a
Ooh.
line of kids, and their entries are already in their hands. There's one entry in line that's getting everyone's attention. What is it
Ooh.
and why?
I don't know. Probably there's some holographic display involved or something that you don't think a kid could do.
It looks way beyond the seven. I think I'd say the limit was like at 17 and under, and you're looking at it going,
Yeah.
I like it. Lou, security has taken measures to protect the building from powered threats. What is one of them that everyone can see?
They have people walking on the ramparts in the top that you can see through the shabby fabric that they didn't have enough money to finish the ceiling. So they just
Perfect.
kind of hung fabric up there, but you can clearly see the beams. And there are like full gear, maybe not with rifles, but like SWAT vests, like walking around up there.
A large crowd, buzzing with oohs and ahs, swarms around a booth demonstrating portable phones that are the size of bricks, while kids excitedly test handheld video games on a flashy console stand. Overhead, a cheerful PA voice declares, "The future is in your hands, innovators," as upbeat synth music grooves through the speakers. Now, behind the Pinnacle Center, at the loading dock, is a large 18-wheeler with the logo for Jacobs brand on the side of it. It's backed up and it's getting unloaded. Justin Jacobs, the famous CEO and founder of Jacobs Brands, is standing on the dock watching pallets of product getting wheeled off the truck. Justin Jacobs is every bit the picture of a powerful CEO. Tall and broad-shouldered, his tailored suits are sharp, but not ostentatious. Designed to command respect without drawing attention to his athletic build. A silk tie always sits perfectly knotted, and polished glasses frame his face, softening the sharp angles of his jawline. His dark hair is neatly styled, not a strand out of place, and his calm, measured voice carries the weight of authority. He's the pinnacle of wealth and success, a man who built an empire through brains, not brawn. No one would guess the perfectly pressed sleeves of his jacket hide the muscles of a hero, or that the slight tilt of his glasses is more disguise than necessary. Next to you, Justin, is a woman holding a clipboard. She looks at it, and with effortless grace, she floats towards you. She's your executive assistant, Catherine Kumar. Her tall frame and sharp business attire exuding an air of unshakable confidence. Her dark hair is neatly pulled back, and her polished, understated jewelry highlights a woman who knows exactly how to command a room without raising her voice. Her sharp brow misses nothing. Tracking schedules, conversations, and crisis with equal precision. Catherine's tone is crisp and professional. Mr. Jacobs, the booth is built. Ready for you to sign off. We should have the product ready for sale, including your secret new release. I'm still unsure about having a magician working the front of the booth, and the Jacobs brand booth is always one of the busiest. Look, here are my projections for today's sales. We've got 2 messages from the board and a note from whatever woman you took out last night. Will you need anything else?
Catherine, it's fine. Everything's under control. As normal, you need to relax a little bit. There's a cocktail serving booth over there. Go get yourself something.
it's been great, the extra responsibilities you've given me. I know you've been trying to pull back over the last 6 months, but I feel like I'm spinning too many plates. I don't know how did you do this?
Catherine, I'd as soon as give all of this stuff away instead of sell it all. I'm tired of this. This is a little ridiculous. I appreciate everything you do for me, but seriously, just relax for a minute. Everything will be okay.
Mr. Jacobs, I mean, I understand you have enough money, but you also employ a lot of people in this city. And if your company fails, that's going to be a lot of people without a job.
Now that you say it that way, you've made it a lot less fun, Catherine. So, again, I'm suggesting the cocktail booth, but maybe tonight or another night this week, you could be the woman I take out instead of the other person in your notes.
And she is taken aback by this. And she goes, well, yeah, here's the messages. And yeah, I'm just gonna make sure the booth is okay. And she kind of floats away. We're gonna cut away from the Pinnacle Center though, to a small apartment that's above a bar on the east side of the Furnace District. Let's paint the scene. What tells us that the bar under this apartment is trying to be more than just another dive bar in the furnace, Dika? Can't hear you.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Caught me off guard.
So we're going to paint the scene. We've got an apartment above a bar in the furnace. What tells us that this bar is trying to be more than just another dive bar in the furnace?
Oh, you can tell that by the attention to details in the decor. So they actually have decor that's not plastered in alcohol and clean bathrooms.
The clean bathrooms is key.
Yeah.
Dan, looking at the block that this bar and apartment are on, what tells us that the furnace wasn't always this destitute?
Oh.
What tells us that originally, at some point, the furnace was actually a thriving district? Anybody want to help him? Who has ideas?
What if all the facades on these buildings used to be bank facades, and all those are now in the other area, but they're all repurposed into bars and little supermarkets and stuff like that?
What do you think of that, Dan?
Yeah.
You like it?
I was gonna say like maybe nice boutiques or something, but yeah, banks.
Yeah,
banks.
but they're all that too, and they're all repurposed, so you can clearly see they were something else.
Now, inside this studio apartment, a man is packing his briefcase. Behind him is a showman's tuxedo, pressed and hanging on the back of the bedroom door. They have everything they need in this case, packed perfectly for this gig, as the booth entertainment for Jacob's brand. Decks of cards, yep, check. Silk handkerchiefs, yep. A wand, gimmick coins, ropes, rings, sponge balls, flash paper, tarot cards, and a magician's fake thumb. Everything is perfectly in the proper place. Dika. Or no, I'm sorry, Lou. What about his room tells you this man wants to be a great showman someday?
He has an original Larry Boudini poster of Larry hanging upside down, handcuffed in chains, about to be hung in water. But like it's an original. This thing costs buku dollars. And
Maybe
he
it's
probably
signed.
stares at it all day.
And Z. What detail in the apartment tells you this person has a doting but loving mother?
I think it's a pan with a noodle dish with aluminum foil and a little note on there. Like you got remember to eat with a little heart. And yeah, I think it's there. It hasn't been touched. There's actually two of them stacked on top of each other. But yes, I think that's what we're seeing.
So a woman lets herself in to this tiny studio apartment. We see Alex Gray whip around to see his mother, Gertrude. Now, Gertrude steps into the room with the warmth of a familiar sunrise, balanced with a well-worn casserole dish in her hands, which she sets down next to the other two. She's a woman of quiet calm, soft features framed by her graying hair tied behind in a ponytail. Her clothes are neat but simple, chosen more for comfort than fashion, and there's flower on her sleeve, a testament of trying to provide for her child who's moved away. Alex, honey, I know today's a big day. Have you? You're not eating.
Oh, I'm eating. I put milk in my coffee. I eat things like sometimes at the bar they have killer fries, Mom. Killer fries. You should have really let me know that you're coming over. I would have cleaned up a little bit, but I'm already late as it is.
I can see the bags under your eyes, honey. You're not sleeping either.
I can't help it. It's I got to work the bar. I have my shows. It's just stressful. I'm trying to get some sleep here and there. I'm sorry. I'm gonna try to get more sleep. I promise. I'm gonna drink the chamomile tea. I know. I'm sorry, Mom.
So, sweetie, I hope today goes well, because I
Thank
just
you.
don't know whether you can tend a bar and try to make this work. I feel like you're burning candles at like 3 different ends now.
I mean, I have to work the bar. Otherwise, I can't afford anything with
Honey, you can move back home.
Mom. I can't do that. I appreciate it, but I gotta get out. I don't think Larry Boudini was living with his mom in his early 30s. I gotta make something of myself. And that takes investment. Justin taught me that. He told me, just you gotta invest. You gotta invest, and if you want to get a result. And I'm investing. It's gonna pay off big, and I'm gonna get us both out of here, and it's gonna be great. I'm gonna pay off our debt. You just gotta trust
I
me.
know, honey. I know you will. I know you will, sweetie. You have been spending a lot of time with Mr. Jacobs. Why doesn't he just give you a job?
It's not like he's not trying. I can't work, and it's gonna drive me crazy. It's not who I am. I want to entertain people. I want to make people happy. Justin is great. He's fantastic, but he's also a lot. And I don't think I could sit in an office day in and day out. It's just not me. It's just not me. I know Dad could do that, but that's not me.
So she's at this point has kind of drifted off to your tuxedo, and as she's talking to you, she's picking lint off and
Hair.
putting her thumb and getting a little bit of a stain off of the tuxedo. Your father provided for his family.
I'm providing for Sonny. And you see my golden retriever just, wag his tail happily in a corner, just watching.
If I see one of my dishes on the floor again for Sonny,
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I forgot to buy dog food one night. It's not going to happen again.
okay.
I'm sorry. I really appreciate it. I love your dishes. I'm just so busy, and they are killer fries in the bar. You should really try them.
Let's cut to inside the expo. This place is just humming with energy. There's like the smell of faint ozone from all of the technology and the gadgets, the buttery smell of popcorn from the snack stand, and just these booths just stretch out in aisles over this big glass curved ceiling where if you're paying attention, you'll notice there's people walking among the rafters on the catwalks above, making sure that everybody's going to be safe here at the expo. Let's go first to the Gray family. So you walk in, Grace, a little overwhelming, a lot going on, a lot of people. I don't know. Does Grace like to people?
No.
So Ava is so excited. She goes, where's the line? Where's the line for the gizmo? The gizmo, gadget gizmo contest.
We will find it. Stay close. There's some sketchy.
I want
people
popcorn. Can I have
around here.
popcorn?
You can have popcorn. Have whatever you want.
Oh my God, Mom! Look! Come here! Look at the robot arms.
Okay. Oh God. If you can go and find where we're supposed to go, that'd be great.
You've got her?
Yep.
And he pauses for a second. Will you hold her hand, please? And just make sure you're always holding her hand?
Oh, yes. Well, I just take her hand.
Okay. Where am I going to find you? Why don't we do this? Why don't I meet you over at the place selling the phones?
All right.
And he drifts off. Grace, how are you handling Ava as she is just bouncing around? She wants to go to the... Well, come on, Mom. A little bit of popcorn. A little bit of popcorn.
Okay.
I didn't eat my whole thing of cereal.
Okay. Yes, we will get popcorn, and then we'll go look at the arms, and then to the telephones.
Okay.
Let's go.
Hey, Mom.
Yes.
You didn't get a chance to look at my gadget. I know you've been busy. Do you want to look at it?
No. Do you want me to? I know it's good.
Oh yeah. No. I don't know. I guess not. Never mind. No, that's okay. Let's get some popcorn.
I feel like I missed something here, but we're gonna go get popcorn.
Okay. I now want to go to Benjamin, Stevie, and Professor McCoy. What are you guys going to be doing?
Well, did we register for the gizmo?
You better get in line.
Well, let's do the line first because it's probably going to take a while.
And I think, Benjamin, as you guys get there, man, last year the line was not this long. It is snaking. They've had to set up, what do they call that? The ropes. They had to set up the ropes for the line to squiggle, and there's just kids with all kinds of stuff going on. And Stevie goes, hey, you two don't even have to wait in line with me. I'll just wait in line, and get registered, and I'll just catch up.
How old is Stevie?
I'd say how old are you? First off, Benjamin.
16.
So let's make Stevie like 14, 13, 14, a couple years younger than you. Now, as far as intellectually, he is intellectually, a 13-year-old. You're 16, but intellectually you are, you're taking college courses at this point. You've got Professor McCoy has kind of taken you under his wing. So I think from a maturity and an intellect standpoint, there's more than just a couple years between you and Stevie. But that's only because Stevie's normal.
Well, I look at the professor and, well, I tell the professor to go around first and I'll stay with Stevie.
Okay. Well, I did see a booth claiming to have holograms. But you two are going to be all right.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, he wanders off. I need to know what it looks like when Alex gets to the Jacobs booth and starts setting up.
So you're gonna see me rushing because I'm way late. I was supposed to be here like 30 minutes ago. Just I'm so late. So you just
And we
see
see
me like
Catherine just
pushing
like,
through. I have a coffee in one hand, my suitcase in the other, and I'm just like, excuse me, and trying to push my way through like some people because I didn't go through the back entrance. I just went through regular people entrance. And yeah, so I'm just like arriving there at the booth.
and JJ, you're standing there.
Hey, sorry, I'm late. Something with my mom came up, sorry about that.
Yeah, sweet lady. Are you okay? Are you all right? You good?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's just
You
lot
don't
of
have to
people
do
here.
this. The product sells
Oh
itself.
no.
You know-
I want to do this, just you're paying
Okay.
me. Of course. I would never let you
Yes.
down. Like I don't do that kind of stuff. I don't bail on my friends.
Okay,
Um,
just no water this time. There's too much electronics around here. No
Oh.
water tricks. That was a disaster last time. There was not supposed to be any
it
water in the
wasn't that
bucket
bad.
when you threw it. I don't
It
know.
wasn't that bad. It was okay. It was a little bad. It was a little
Okay.
bad.
All right, but just no
Okay,
water.
no water. Let
Sounds
me
cool.
think. Yeah, okay, I can do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no
All
problem. No problem. Okay.
All
Yeah. How fire? Are we good on fire?
Small fires.
Give me a range. Give me a range, Justin. I gotta know. Like
I look
where do you
over
draw the
and there's
line?
literally there's a guy walking out with a cigarette tucked in his ear with a lighter in his hand, and I grab the lighter and I light it.
Oh. You're really
And that's
boxing
it.
me in here, Justin. You're really boxing me in. I'll make it happen. We're gonna sell.
No. You don't need to make fire happen. We don't need fire. You just asked me if you could use fire. What else do you have? I start rummaging through like his bag.
Oh, okay. Careful. I had.
These spongy balls, perfect. You got just do the spongy ball stuff. All right.
Can they be on fire? I'm just asking.
I'm gonna go find Catherine.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I'm gonna go find
yeah,
Catherine.
thank you so much. And I give you like a fist bump. It's like thank you so much, Justin.
Thanks, homie. Right? We're homies, right? We're good.
Yeah. We're homies.
Okay. All right. And I just leave. I just turn around and leave.
Yeah, it's just do the like weird awkward silence for a moment before you turn around and I turn around.
So
I'm gonna set up.
As you're setting up, Alex,
Mhm.
let's kind of survey
Yeah.
this expo. We've got you at the Jacobs booth setting up. Looks like just Mr. Jacobs. I'm sorry. Mr. Jacobs is walking off to go find Miss Khan to catch up with her. How are you feeling about the booth? Did it look good?
Jacobs? You're asking Jacobs?
How did your
I
booth look?
don't even care. I didn't even look. I saw that I was on the poster and I'm like, okay, that's fine. And I walk away. I literally could care less if one thing sells. It doesn't.
Benjamin and Stevie are in line.
Yeah.
And not knowing who he is, we also see Ethan Gray walking back from the registration area where he registered Ava's thing. And he starts walking towards where we find Grace and Ava. She's got popcorn on a slushie and she's trying to hold her gizmo and she's walking around. She goes, oh, where are we supposed to meet Dad?
Oh, yes, by the telephones. I'm going to take the food. Come on, let's go.
And Ethan doesn't quite get there in time. I don't think any of the four of you notice, but there seems to be some sort of blue lightning that starts to crackle up in the rafters. And one by one, the security detail that's been monitoring things from the catwalk start to fall to pieces and just get zapped one at a time, knocked out and falling on the catwalks, unbeknownst to all of the attendees below. Then the lights go out.
Oh.
They flicker, and they plunge the entire expo into darkness. There's a gasp from everybody. All of the electronics turns off, and all the humming and that background noise that you didn't even realize was there until it was gone stops. And then boom, a spotlight of electric blue energy explodes above the convention floor, revealing, oh God, Circuit Breaker. I'm going to show her to you.
Ooh.
That is Circuit Breaker. She is blue lightning jumping off of her power suit and touching each of the rafters as it knocks out each one of the guards that are up there. She's hovering midair, about 15 feet above the convention floor. And her voice almost sounds like it's being tapped into the PA system. Now, did you think you could showcase tomorrow's tech without me? And it's like this electric lightning is keeping her up as she kind of floats and jumps and bobs between the different rafters. And that's when all four of you not only notice her, but there's a flash of the blue lightning coming off her suit and hitting the bars. And you see Tech Rat. He crawls into view, his orange goggles glowing eerily in the dark. He's crouched high up on one of the crossbeams, his metal tail swaying as he lets out the guttural chuckle. Run while you can, little rats, he taunts. Sparks fly, the PA system glitches, and screeching static fills the room. Well, Tech Rat, I think we should welcome everybody to the future. New Eden, the future is ours. We're going to take a 10-minute break. All right. So, a little bit about the mechanics of the game, and just preface this by I have tried, I think I'm at close to a dozen different Supers games over the last couple decades. And I've always been trying to find kind of an interesting sweet spot. I want a little bit of crunch, but I don't want Mutants and Masterminds, which is a great game if you want crunch. I didn't want it to be just hand wavy with the powers. I love masks, but it wasn't that sweet spot. I was looking for a Goldilocks, and I think I found it with Sentinels. So you're seeing on the lower right-hand corner one of the first things I love, which is the scene tracker. It goes green, yellow, red. Each one of those is a turn. While in green, they have access to their green special abilities. While in yellow, they get more powerful abilities. And when in red, they get their big abilities to be able to go. So we naturally see this escalating as it goes. What determines whether they can access and whether they're in green, yellow, or red is the scene tracker, but also their health. As their health goes down, they move into yellow and move into red as well. Now, I'm going to give you guys a free turn here before we start using the scene tracker, because you've been ambushed. You guys are on the floor. The crowd is going, like, moving around. The only light is coming from Circuit Breaker and the blue lightning that's just jumping around her body. Who wants to tell me what they're doing first?
I think I'm immediately going to disappear behind the booth and just mumble to myself, oh, but I can't do fire, but she can do lightning. Oh, great. And behind the booth, I just flip open the case again and like flip another little thing, and a secret compartment opens up where I have a completely different suit in there. And I essentially put that on real quick.
So we can see the character art next to you, Z, but can you kind of give us an idea, some details? So I know that they wear a mask.
Yes.
Right. And in the picture where they've got a kind of black, is that shadows on their face, or is it dark when we look at them?
I don't think it is not dark when we look at them. I think that was just part of the art.
Sure.
I think it's, at least now, it is very visible, the rest of the face. What you see on the suit once I emerge is this just green shimmer that's all over it, like an iridescent beetle. And it's like a mix of a tuxedo with a cape. It's one would call it maybe a little eccentric if one were to wear that to a regular dinner party. But hey.
So you go to the booth, not a phone booth, but the expo booth, and you go behind and you're changing, you're in costume. Prophet, you were walking, going to find Catherine Kahn when the lights went off, and you go up and you can see Circuit Breaker. Now, I don't think the four of you have ever encountered her, but you're very familiar with her. She is a fast-talking, very confident thief. She likes to find tech and steal tech. What are you doing when the lights go off and you see that little show between her and Tech Rat? You're on mute.
Since the lights are off, I don't have to find anywhere to change into my secret costume. So I just do it while the lights are out.
So the glasses come off, the shirt gets unbuttoned. And out comes Prophet, ready for business.
And,
all right.
One more thing. As I'm walking by, I remember that on the table near me was some kid took like a Little League baseball bat, and he like duct taped all kinds of sensors to it and like a toaster to like warm it up, and it supposedly hit the ball farther. I grabbed that bat and ripped the toaster off it.
Excellent. Dika, you're there with your daughter. You've just taken the food out of her because she is salted up and sugared up, and the lights blink and Circuit Breaker appears above you.
Oh, thank God. Finally, something's happening. I'm going to pick up Ava and say, Ava, sweetheart, help me see if you can find your father.
And as soon as those words leave your mouth, Ethan kind of cuts through the crowd. He was headed your way anyway, but as soon as these lights came out, the only thing Ethan cared about was getting to you. So as he's coming to you, he's got a face that you've gotten pretty familiar with, which is kind of the "it's okay, honey" face. And he puts his arms out to take Ava.
I pass him Ava, and then is it still dark?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the only light is just the blue lightning that's coming off of Circuit Breaker.
I will make sure Ava's like in his chest, and you'll just see me snap my finger and my entire outfit shifts to fully cover myself.
You're in line with Stevie, Benjamin, and this is happening more towards the main hall, which you're kind of on a side hall. Ooh. But the way that she is broadcasting her voice, just somehow connecting with the PA system, you may not have seen all of it, but you heard it. And Stevie is scared to death.
I know. Well, am I close to the main an exit or something?
Sure.
I'm gonna grab him, put him on my back, and I'm rushing out of the main hall.
Let's have you push on one of the doors that takes you kind of to a stairwell.
Yeah.
Benjamin, I think if we go down one flight, we can leave.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to check on the professor, but you leave.
No, I'll go with you.
No, look at me. Promise you are leaving outside, and you wait for the cops, or try to find the cops. Go phone the cops outside.
Find our first roll. So I need our first roll, and I'm going to bring up your character sheet so everybody watching can kind of get a sense of it. So anytime that somebody wants to do something, they have got to pick a power, which you can see on the left here, a quality, and then there's the status. And the status is determined by the status of the scene as well as the status of their health. You're at full health right now. So you're green, and you're going to be rolling a d6 for your status. Your powers, unless you get creative, I'm going to force you to unselect a power, which means you're going to be rolling a d4 for that power. I'm
what am I
interested, though.
For?
What are you rolling for your quality? This is an overcome action. Now, I don't know, but scroll down and take a look, because you have some overcomes that came from your choices during character creation. Do any of those fit here as you're trying to convince Stevie?
Overcome to stop an act of injustice, but not directly. Overcome in a situation where you charge headlong. I would like to charge headlong, but I need to take care of him.
Yeah. So the goal here is to convince Stevie to leave without you.
Can intuition help? I can gauge what I should tell him, or?
Yeah, I think intuition fits here. So let's go no power, which gives you a d4. Let's go intuition, and then
Intuition is a power.
Oh, intuition is a power? Oh, I'm going to let you use that.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't realize that you had intuition as a power. Look at you, big brain Benjamin.
I needed something that wasn't physical.
Love it.
Persuasion, I think.
Persuasion, perfect.
And
all right.
Green.
So you're going to end up rolling 3 die. So on your d10 from intuition, you rolled an 8. Yep. Your persuasion is a d6, you rolled a 6, and then your status die of green, you rolled a 1. And you'll notice it's got a min, a mid, and a max. And unless something else says otherwise, we use the mid always. What is the middle value? We don't care about the die sizes anymore. So your mid is a 6. And when you do an overcome action and roll a 6, you get the action succeeds, but with a minor twist.
I do reroll once.
Oh, okay. So let's
reroll.
Sure. Just do a reroll a d10 for me. So /r space 1d10.
The d6, I think.
Oh, I'm sorry, d6. Yeah, it was the d6.
The d6. Oh, it's another one. Okay, it's 6.
All right. So 6. So you are going to succeed. So He's going to go down the flight of stairs. He's going to get outside of the expo, which is exactly what you wanted. But I need a minor twist. I think you are distracted. So do me a favor, because you're worried about Stevie. So do me a favor and let's add a -1 hinder called distracted. Your next action will be at a -1.
Distracted.
All right. So once that's done, he heads out. Benjamin, you've got the stairwell to yourself. What does it look like when Benjamin becomes Beacon?
Well, I'm good. I have kind of a haversack, and I'm gonna pull out the costume.
Okay.
I've got the cheap lycra thing, red. It's always red, but it blackens during the fight, so it's usually not usable more than once. That's why it's a cheap costume. The mask and the underwear are more durable thanks to JJ's help or his company's help, but the rest will fall apart probably during the fight.
All right, so if we look at the ready box on the scene, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 actors. One of you gets to go first, and then you're going to hand off initiative to the next person. So of the 4 of you, who is going to act first?
I think I would like to go first. And I think what's going to happen, what I want to do is I want to grab, there's got to be somewhere around like a portable speaker or something like that, because I want to get over the noise. And obviously nobody sees anything. You see just the lightning, sparkle, and then you suddenly hear, "Behold, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else, a spectacle unlike any other. Step into a world where the extraordinary becomes reality. Hold on to your overpriced fancy gadgets. This show is limited engagement." And I'm going to teleport using my ability, Rabbit in the Hat.
Can you read it off to us? Rabbit in the Hat.
Rabbit in a Hat. Hinder using teleportation. Use your max die. If you roll doubles, also attack using your mid die.
Very nice. And that's a green ability?
That is a green ability.
That's a really good one. All right, so let's build your pool. You've got your status die all automatic. It's going to be whatever your green level is.
Right.
Sounds like the power has to be teleport.
Yes.
Based on this ability.
12.
Oh, very nice.
Yep.
What is the quality that you're going to choose?
Oh, captivating, alluring. That's a D8.
Beautiful. So we've got a D8, a D12, and what is your status die?
The status die is a D6.
Beautiful. Let's roll it.
So how do now I'm trying to figure out.
That's okay. On your sheet. So let's take a look at your sheet. Hold on 1 second. Let's bring it up, and this is actually good, so everybody can see it. All right. So we have to hit the X's, which I'm going to do for you now. And that's going to kind of take you out of edit mode.
Okay.
And now you should be able to select teleportation.
Oh, yeah.
Select.
That helps a lot.
Yep. Select captivating.
Yep.
And now you see your little die pool in the upper left-hand corner.
Upper left-hand corner. Yes.
Has the 3 die sizes. Let's give it a roll.
Fantastic. Thank you.
All right. So your mid is a 5 off of your D12, a 7, and a 9. Now the ability lets you use the 9, doesn't it?
Yes. Use your max die. Correct.
Okay. So you're going to hinder using a 9. You're going to, so who, you have a choice. Do you want to hinder Circuit Breaker, or do you want to hinder Tech Rat?
I think I'm going to hinder. I'm going to actually hinder Tech Rat. I'm going to teleport behind Tech Rat, and I'm just pulling some of his gadgets off, just hindering him, just taking stuff off his outfit, because he's, I saw on his vest there's all of these things he has, these gizmos. I pull them off and throw them like just into the crowd, and yeah.
That's amazing. All right, so he is going to be at a -3 on his effect die for his next action.
Fantastic.
All right, so we see Midnight Warden zap up. All of you can see Midnight Warden just appear behind Tech Rat. Tech Rat goes, "Ah, what?" and just watches you as you slowly are like sleight of hand pickpocketing stuff. Like, no, these are mine. These are mine. Who are you going to hand this off to, Midnight Warden?
I think I'm going to hand it off to Justin because I think he's the only. No.
You can do what you want, but because I'm a tactician, I'm assessing the situation
Oh,
and I'm
okay.
making lots of plans. So you can, but
All right.
I
And
like to see
it's-
what's going on first.
And at some point, we need to hand off to the villains as well. So keep
Yes.
that in mind.
That's
So
true.
Oh, I am. I
you
am
can
very
hand it off
temp-
to Tech
I-
Rat if you want.
I am very tempted to hand it off to Tech Rat. Yes.
Is that
I
what we're
would
going
like
to do?
Yep, I think so.
All right. So Tech
It's a
Rat
show.
is
Tech Rat is involved
next.
now.
So as you're grabbing at all of this stuff, he's like, no, what, no, and he's scrambling. He scrambles up one of the rafters, and he's trying to get above you. He's going to use his ability, might as well jump, attack a hero with the steel tail, and hinder them with the same die. Now he's a lieutenant. He's not a full villain, which means he only gets one die, and it's a D10.
Mhm.
So he rolls a D10, and that's his effect die. So let's go ahead and have him roll that. So he rolled a 7. So Midnight Warden, I need you to take 7. Oh, wait, no. Steel Tail. And yeah. So I need you to take 7 damage.
Mhm.
So he scrambles up and then just leaps onto you, and you fall, and he's on top of you, and the back of your head hits the beam that you guys are on. And he also gets to hinder you with the same die. So not only do you take 7 damage, but you have a -2 hinder. Let's call it trapped.
It's under penalties.
Yep. So put in a -2 trapped.
All right.
All right. So now I get to choose who's next. I think he is not ready to hand this off yet. So he's going to give it to Beacon. Beacon, you're up next.
So I pull on my costume and I start charging up a bit, and I light up, so at least people can see me. So what's the crowd reaction now that this started?
Everybody's scared to death. There's a lot of screaming. There people are trying to find places to hide. Everybody's bumping into each other. There's parts of the booths that are getting knocked over that aren't bolted down. There's a good bit of chaos happening here.
I would like to help clear them out, but even the security lights, the emergency lights are off.
Correct. It is. She has hacked the entire building.
Is it like she short-circuited everything, or she's draining it?
It's hard to tell.
It's hard to tell. Well, we need to restore the light. That would help people. So,
You're
still
glowing.
I'm glowing, but I mean, yeah, but how high is she? She's still flying?
Oh, she's a good 20 feet in the air. She's like 2
Oh, my
stories
God.
above you. Still, and you see this blue lightning coming off of her suit and kind of jumping and hitting the metal off the rafters. In the corner, you see Midnight Warden did a good job of kind of scaring Tech Rat. But Tech Rat looks like he's gotten the upper hand. He has jumped on top of Midnight Warden, and Midnight Warden's pinned under Tech Rat right now.
I'm gonna try to at least clear the people in my general area, so at least we clear up some space. I'm gonna light up as much as I can, and
So let's talk mechanics. So things like challenges are going to be happening, right? So right now the crowd is not a challenge. So when you look at the
okay.
crowd, nobody's really hurting each other. Everything is pretty much under control. And don't worry, it's going to stay that way. There's nothing that can go wrong
of
here
course.
with a panicked crowd in the dark. So don't worry about that. So really your focus right now, Beacon, should be on, I think, either Midnight Warden under Tech Rat, or the Circuit Breaker is a full-blown villain.
Yeah, but Tech Rat and Midnight Warden are also up there.
They are.
Yeah, but I don't fly.
And we can have an emergency ladder if you need to get to an emergency ladder and spend your turn getting up to the rafters. What do you want to do?
I've got the a power called Nuclear Strike, which lets me charge someone. So,
Right?
can I charge up in the air?
You are Beacon. You tell me what Beacon can do.
I think I might have done that at least once.
Okay.
With moderate result.
All right. So you get down on your knees and you're going to use this ability. What's the ability called again?
Nuclear Strike.
All right. And we're doing this on Tech Rat?
No. Circuit Breaker.
On Circuit Breaker. Okay. So let's read off the text of your ability real quick.
Attack using nuclear. Ignore all penalties on this attack. Ignore any defend actions, and it cannot be affected by reactions.
Ooh, that's really good. So that hinder that I gave you, normally you would be at a minus right now, but because of this ability, you can ignore it. It's still there. You're going to have to use it for a future roll, but for this particular situation, with the threat that Circuit Breaker is giving you, you are in a great position. So you have to use nuclear. What is your quality going to be?
Well, it's a charge, so I'm thinking close combat. Does it?
Love
fit?
it.
And D6 green die.
All right, let's roll it. And you get to use your mid die, is that right?
It doesn't say so, yeah.
Okay, so it doesn't say. So we rolled a 1 on your D10, well done. A 3 on your D8 and a 1 on your D6. Now you do get a chance to re-roll because you have a special ability that allows you to re-roll ones. You want to re-roll that D10?
The D6.
You're better. Oh, all right.
That's a 3.
That
So
is-
all 3s.
Yeah, it already rolled a 3, so it's just the D10 you need to re-roll. Or no, it rolled a 1.
The
I'm
D6.
sorry. You're exactly right. Okay, so your mid is still a 3.
Yeah.
So you're going to do 3 damage to her.
Yeah.
I need you to tell me what this looks like.
Well, I kind of light up, and you can hear a kind of a sound, and I'm kind of rocketing up, and like everybody can see me. Like I'm light up, and when I get close, I kind of use the momentum to punch her.
So you punch her, but you didn't square up. You only do 3 damage to her. So it looks like she was preparing a little bit. So she floats a little bit to the side, and you end up kind of hitting her shoulder. And she looks at you as you're kind of now landed up on one of the rafters, and she says, I didn't know this audience participation thing was going to happen here. Don't worry. I've got for you a nice shocking experience. Who are you going to hand off to?
I'm looking at... Oh, I don't see them. I'm thinking Tempest. Are you ready?
I think you're muted.
All right.
Because I was.
Silent Tempest. Silent Tempest.
Silent Tempest,
So
yeah.
you see, we've got Tech Rat pinned on top of Midnight Warden. We just saw Beacon launch himself through the air up 20 feet and just punch Circuit Breaker, and it doesn't look like it did a whole lot of damage. You're down there on the floor. What are we doing?
All right. Okay. I go to help my comrade who is pinned because it's needed.
Why do I feel like this is not the first time you've had to help Midnight Warden?
Yes.
So Tech Rat's on top of him going, you don't get to take things from me. I take things from you.
I hope he's going through his bag, throwing his cards out, and like his,
He's got these buck teeth.
And what you will see is I'm going to use my disruptive resonance, and it is attack using transmutation, hinder using your min die.
Ooh, interesting.
And what you see is the technology on the Rat King, as she will call him, is trying to break itself off. It's trying to turn into stone.
So he goes to grab a zapper, and he goes to pull it off, and he's going to tase Midnight Warden, and all of a sudden he looks at it, and it's just solid stone. All right, so let's talk about it. What power are we using? We got to use transmutation based on the ability, right?
So it's just as transmutation and hinder using your minus die.
Right.
Your
So you have
min
so
die.
for your power has to be transmutation.
Transmutation.
What quality are you going to use?
Ooh, let's go ahead and use insight.
So this is how you were able to notice all of the gadgets that are on his little suit there. Beautiful.
Yes.
And then what is your status die?
Green D6.
All right, so we're attacking using your mid, and then you're going to end up hindering him using your min. And remind me, Midnight Warden, what did we already give him? A -3?
Oh, I think it was a -3. Yes.
Okay.
Perfect. He'll be hindered a little bit more.
All right, let's roll it. So you're going to do 4 damage.
Okay.
We're going to hinder with a 3, which is going to give him a -1. He's going to be at a -4 now. Now, the way it works with lieutenants only have 1 die, and that is also their save die. And with a lieutenant, I gotta find there's Tech Rat. He is a D10 lieutenant, so he's going to roll a D10. If he can roll 4 or higher, he takes no damage. If he does take damage, his die degrades to a D8. If he has a D6 and fails his save, he's out. So you start to transmutate the stone thing, and he throws that off to the side. How did you see this transmutation trying to damage him?
So it was. So Beacon's not going to like this part, but it was trying to transmutate and stab him into his actual body.
And the gear on his kind of, he's got like a gear vest that the prepper bros wear, and it's got like a million different pockets and places to clip stuff. He realizes that you're transmutating it, and he pulls off the vest and he throws it before it has a chance to damage him.
My bad.
All right, that is Silent Tempest. Silent Tempest, you can hand it either to Prophet or to Circuit Breaker.
Looks like we have a volunteer.
Right,
everything tells me Circuit
hand. Yeah, that's also what I was thinking.
So one thing to keep in mind here is whoever goes last picks who goes first. So if we let Circuit Breaker go last, she could go twice in a row, or she could pass it to Tech Rat, which maybe that's fine. But think about it as far as round 2, right?
Are you sure?
I'm not sure.
My judgment.
All right, Prophet.
All right. Prophet goes to the next table over. Apparently, this was like the sporting goods section of the tech, and there's a bowling ball with like things drilled into it to try to make it like curve automatically. And he picks it up, and with his strength, he hurls it at Circuit Breaker.
Ooh,
and I'm going to be using my Bring It ability. I attack using my strength, and the target of the attack must take an attack action against me its next turn.
Ooh, so it's like, oh, that's nice. It's like a what do they call that?
Yes. So I have to use my strength.
Strength. What quality do you use?
I'm using banter.
What are you gonna say?
I yell out. I go, "Time to break some circuits!" And I throw the ball at her.
Chuck the bowling ball, and it's going to use your mid die.
Yep.
She ran into that one with that name.
Ooh, 5 is your mid die, so she is going to take 5 damage. And she's got, right now, just so you guys know, she has 52 health. Bowling ball knocks her back, and actually, at this point, she starts to fall towards the expo floor, and her lightning jumps and stops her from hitting anything and raises her back up. You have no choice at this point. You have to hand it to her.
Yeah, and she has to attack me.
She does.
Yes.
So she comes back up and she goes, Prophet, you keep on trying. I'm just going to charge up faster to meet your incompetence. And let's see, what is she going to do? Ooh. She's got a couple abilities. I know she definitely wants to attack you. She's going to use her ability called These Should Help. Attack multiple targets using technology. Use your min die. Hinder each target with your max die. If one of these targets rolls doubles on their next turn, they take damage equal to that penalty. So she starts to flow up and you see cables coming out of her power suit. One of them comes down to zap you, Prophet. The other one is going up to help her friend Tech Rat and is going to zap Midnight Warden as well. So she's got to use technology as her quality. She's definitely using gadgets as her power. Now, her status die is indicated by the number of heroes that she's engaged with. So right now, or no, the number of heroes with a penalty. So who's got penalties on them? I know Midnight Warden does, Beacon does. So it's 2 heroes. So she's going to get a D8 for this. Oh, you're very lucky. She did not roll well. All right, so I need both Midnight Warden takes 2 damage because the attack is your min die. Prophet, you take 2 damage as you get zapped by these cables as they come off of her body and go there. And then hinder each target with your max die. Her max was only a 3. I need each of you to add a -1 shocked as a hinder. So your effect die is going to be -1 on your next action.
For who?
Both of you.
Okay. I'm not trapped anymore, correct?
Oh, no, and not until you have to spend it. So it's going to stay there and stack.
Oh, okay. Oh, lovely.
Wow.
That's fun.
Wow, that tickled, Circuit Breaker. That's all you got?
Next, and this is something that I love about this system, the environment gets a turn. And the environment is the Innovator Tech Expo. So let's take a look and see what the Tech Expo is going to do. The Tech Expo has 3 dice, just like you guys do. It has a D8 for crowded, a D6 for noisy, and a D10 for dangerous toys. So I think we're going to use PA system glitch. It's going to try to hinder you by having the PA system just that noise, that screeching, crazy static. It's going to use its mid die, which is only a 1. Everybody add a -1 hinder called earache. So
those add up.
And everybody, all of the patrons, everybody's just covering their ears. And Midnight Warden, as right on top of you, you're getting zapped. Tech Rat is right there, and you can see his freaking earplugs in his damn rat ears.
That rat.
That dirty rat. All right, so that is our first. We are now in our second green round. And she got to go last, so she's going to let Tech Rat go now. So Tech Rat is up. Let's take a look at Tech Rat. Tech Rat, he is on top of you. And I think he's going to use his Let's Get Tricky ability. He doesn't even need to roll a die. His Let's Get Tricky ability allows him to bring in an environmental threat or twist. So I'm going to go to my environment. And I'm going to give you guys a new challenge. It's only 1 box challenge. It's called Turn It Down. All you need to do is have an overcome action to check that 1 box, and this challenge goes away. You have to figure out a way to stop the PA system from screeching. So at some point, you guys need to stop that before people's eardrums start to explode. And to give you a sense of the way the system works, let's go back to the scene tracker. If at the end of the last round, if we check all of those boxes and all of the villains have not been taken care of and all the challenges have not been met, our heroes will lose this encounter and things will not go well for them. So they have got to not only make sure that they get rid of Tech Rat and Circuit Breaker, but as we start seeing challenges appear, they need to take care of them as well. That is Tech Rat. Tech Rat is going to hand it over. I think he has to hand it to Midnight Warden.
Oh,
you don't get to choose. I get to choose. Nice try, though, Dika.
Okay.
So he's on top of you. You hear this noise. You've got a 1-box challenge, which you have several rounds to take care of.
Okay, that's good. That does help. So he's on top of me, which
He is. He's taken his tactical vest. He's thrown it off because it's been transmutated by Silent Tempest.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna do. Does he have any bonuses? He has penalties on him, right?
Yeah, he currently has what? I think he's -5, isn't he?
Okay.
So his next turn, I'll just tell you right now, is going to be ineffective.
Okay, that's good. I think I'm trying to think what to do.
He's on top of you.
I think I'm going to go straight. I'm just going to attack using speed with quick draw flash.
And that's one thing that's key here. So you got these abilities, Z, and this is for everybody, not just you, Z. You've got these abilities, but you can just act, right? You can just attack and use a combination of your qualities and your powers and your status die, and it'll just use your mid die. You don't always have to use an ability every time.
Okay. Well, I would like to use my ability because it's a yellow ability, because guess where I am? In the yellow zone.
Oh, and the reason, even though the scene's not yellow, you've taken enough damage to be in yellow. You've unlocked your yellow abilities. So which yellow ability are we going to use?
We're going to use quick draw flash, attack using speed, hinder that same target using your min die. And I think I'm just seeing red now at this point, and I'm just, it's like, you're stealing the show. And I just like art. I think I'm just throwing fists at this point.
And throwing fists in a way that nobody can actually see. It's a blur, right? As you start punching and they get faster and they get faster as you start punching him. So you have to choose speed as your power. What quality are you using?
Well, power would be, could it be agility? Because I don't know if I have speed.
Oh, read the ability one more time to me then.
The ability, attack using speed. Well, guess I'm going to assemble an attack on my own without using.
Well, no. So you with the power needed you to assign it. The ability needs you to assign a power. Let's reassign that right now. So what power do you think ties to what you're doing here? Looking at your powers.
I was thinking
it's an attack
athletic.
and a hinder.
It could since it's a hinder, it could also be teleportation. I could just like teleport on top of him. And
Love it. So we'll fix that on your character sheet later. Yep.
Yes.
But this ability uses teleportation. So you're going to use teleportation to zap out from under him, and it's going to hurt him and hinder him.
Okay.
So what quality are you going to use?
I don't know if any. I would say creativity, but that feels a little.
No, I love it.
All right.
Creativity, definitely.
Okay.
So, and just think about what is going to be creative about it as you describe what happens, right? So let's go ahead and roll, and let's see what you do is you attack and potentially hinder. Well, no, you're definitely going to hinder.
That is my hope. Yes.
Yep. Because you attack with the mid and hinder with the min, right?
Yes.
Let's roll it.
All right, let's. Oh, I'm hindering with min. Yes. But that's a good
very nice.
Excellent.
That is not good for Tech Rat. That is a 7 attack that he's got to deal with here. So he has got to save against that 7. He has got a D10. So let's see what happens. He does not. So this is successful. He now downgrades to a D8. Tell me what this looks like. So what's this creative teleportation that hurts him? And actually, in your min is a 7. Oh my God, he's like at minus like 7 now.
Very
with him.
good. We love to see it. You know, he's stealing my show, right? Anyway, so you see him on top of me, and he wants to take like just punch my face. And the moment he does it, I just disappear, and he punches the ground, and I stand behind him, and I think, since we're using creativity, I'm just gonna grab a bottle from underneath like a table, like a seltzer bottle, and just like slam it over his head, to just water doesn't mix well with electricity, right?
Love it, absolutely. And he's zapped, and then she's just as the water breaks from the bottle itself. Midnight Warden, you have acted. Who are you going to hand off to next?
I think I'm going to hand it off to my buddy, Prophet.
Prophet, you're up next. So you've thrown the bowling ball. It's hit her. She has got cables that have come down. She's zapped Midnight Warden, who's not looking so great, and zapped you with those cables. You can see that Midnight Warden and Tech Rat are now on the ground of the hall, kind of battling it out. And it looks like Midnight Warden got free of them.
Again, my plan was for her to only attack me, so I am not happy that she attacked more than one person. So I literally run with bat in hand towards her, because we're going to bring it again, but I'm going to try to propel me and her away from everyone else, so she has to deal with me.
And I think right now she's only floating like 5 or 6 feet above the ground, so you have no trouble getting to her. So you're running towards her. Are you going to use an ability?
And then as I go by, there's actually somebody that made a very large pogo stick, and I jump onto the pogo stick, and it propels me up in the air. So I grab her, I bear hug her. So I'm going to use my strength, and I'm going to use my conviction, because I was so pissed that my thing didn't work.
So here's a question for you: we got to talk about what action you're taking, right? So it doesn't sound like we're going to use one of your special actions.
Yeah, we're using Bring It Again. That's the target of attack, but she has to attack me again.
Got it.
Because,
all right, so let's use Bring It Again, and it uses the mid, right?
Yep, it's my strength, but this time my quality, I'm using conviction. And then let's roll it. There we go.
Nice freaking roll. So this is going to be a good bit of damage. This is 8 damage to her. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure we go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. She is down to 45. What does this look like as you pogo stick up to her height?
Oh, pogo stick. I jump off. I might do like a fakie or something on the pogo stick right before I kick it away. And then I just grab her, and I'm assuming we just slam into one of the railings. And you see like sparks go everywhere, and maybe break some of her stuff, and we fall and hit the ground, and we're both grappling.
Yeah, and she's kind of wrestling with you, and she's like, "This is not how I do things.
This is how I do business."
Who are you handing off to, Prophet? You've got Beacon, Silent Tempest, as well as Circuit Breaker.
Circuit Breaker.
Excellent. So Circuit Breaker is up next. Let's take a look and see. She is not pleased with you, sir, and she has to attack you because of the taunt that's tied to this ability, which is a big deal. She's going to use one of her abilities called I'm Charging You Up. Hinder using electricity. Use your max die. Recover using your min plus mid die. So we've also been forgetting to use these hinders as you guys are going. So just remember, if you've got hinders listed, you need to use them up on your next action. And that's my fault for forgetting to remind you. All right. So she's got to use electricity as her power. And she's going to use angry, one of her qualities, angry. And right now she's still at 1 to 2 heroes. Well, actually, who's got penalties? Prophet has penalties. Beacon has penalties. 4 of you have penalty. She gets now.
Oh, you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing.
She's got a D10 now. All right. So her mid is a 6. Her max is an 8. So I'm going to hinder using electricity. Use your max die. No, that's not what I chose. I chose the recovery one. Yeah. All right. So she's going to hinder you with her max, which is an 8. All right, Prophet. I need you to add a -3 hinder, another hinder that you need to burn. What do you think it is? What name are we going to give it? One word. As electricity she explodes with this blue lightning electricity off her suit.
Let's just call it explosion.
Perfect.
Parts
Knocked
and
back.
things just
Yep.
go flying. Everything around
Absolutely
us
love it.
explodes.
And then she gets to hinder, or she gets to recover with her min plus her mid. She recovers 9 health.
That
She's up to 54. All right. So you just see her getting stronger as she slowly floats up off of the floor. You're knocked back by this explosion of electricity. She now needs to hand it off. She's going to give it to, I think she's more, she did not. I think she's going to hand it to Silent Tempest. So you transmutated of Tech Rat's vest. He was able to throw it off. You've been ineffectual up to this point, Silent Tempest. Tech Rat is on the ground, tussling with Midnight Warden. Midnight Warden, not in the same level of danger he was before. Prophet just got blown off of Circuit Breaker. She's now, for the first time, standing on solid ground as she recovers from being tackled by Prophet. Beacon is up on the rafters after he shot himself like a missile up there. What are you doing?
Okay. To help the situation and seeing that, let's be honest, the actual main villain here is doing work now, I'm gonna focus my attention on her. So I am going to grab, there's a bunch of stupid stuff here. Run past, grab a weapon, and use. Yeah, I'm going to grab like a weed whacker that they're trying to reconstruct.
Yeah, it's a self-propelled weed whacker.
Even better. Turn it on.
So
I'm going to.
The guy in the booth is going, no, that's really expensive. It's my only prototype.
He doesn't exist to me. I use my silent precision, and I'm going to throw it at her.
Very nice. Can you read Silent Precision for us?
I sure can. So I attack using awareness. Ignore all penalties on this attack. Ignore any defense action, and it cannot be affected by reactions.
Very, very nice. So those penalties are going to stick on your character sheet. You do not have to spend them here.
Okay.
And you have to do it with awareness. So it is your skill at awareness is allow you to pull this off. And I think that makes sense. You found the perfect weapon, right? This weed whacker that you're able to grab. What power are you going to use?
So the power is awareness.
I'm sorry. Oh, you have like superpower awareness around all of your surroundings. Very cool. What's your quality then?
I'm going to use Harden to kind of still myself in this moment. So nothing affects me. And I'm still in the green status.
Beautiful. So you grab this weed whacker and you throw it across the hall, down the aisle. Prophet's on the ground on his back after getting zapped. And we see this weed whacker flying. What's it do?
Let's see.
Boy, I love how you guys are rolling. What does the ability allow you to do? Read the ability one more time for me.
So it allows me to attack using awareness, ignore all penalties on this attack, ignore any defense actions, and it cannot be affected by reactions.
Got it. So it still uses your mid. So you're going to do 3 damage to her. She gets knocked back. And you're standing next to the automated weed whacker booth. My next question for you is who are you handing it off to?
Oh, Beacon.
That's actually, it was your only choice, right? Is
Right.
Beacon. Beacon, you're up above. What's your plan?
Well, I've been providing some light for most of you, so that's nice. I'm thinking, since we said that the ceiling wasn't very finished, so the PA system must be up there, and I'm guessing the wires are not really, must be like somewhat exposed or easily to access.
So you're going to try to do an overcome action to get rid of that challenge, which
Yeah.
is the PA system. I like it. So take a look at so you can do a standard overcome, which is pick a power and a quality to accomplish this, and we'll use your mid die to try to accomplish this. Unless you can look at your quality greens, you might have an overcome that ties to one of your qualities, or not your qualities, your
Principle. Well,
yeah, your principle. Thank you.
overcome to stop an act of injustice. Does that fit? I'm trying to prevent people from getting hurt.
I'm not feeling
No?
it. It might end up
No?
being just a regular overcome. So
I'm still gonna do it anyway.
yeah, of course. I mean, we got to get rid of this challenge. It's a 1-box challenge. So you have got a power. What power are you
Absorption?
using to take out the PA system?
Absorption.
Ooh, you're gonna pull the power out of the PA system itself. That's very cool. What is the quality?
How about science?
It has to be science, right? Your understanding of grounding and electricity and being able to pull that towards you. What are you still in the green status?
Yeah. But I have do the 2 penalties add up?
All right.
I've
What
got
is
a
what's your
2
total
minus-
minus?
I've got a -1 distraction and a -1 earache.
All right, so you're going to be at a
-2, I guess.
-2, but the good news is after you do this overcome action, they go away because they're not persistent.
Yeah, I figure we need to. Okay, well, I do re-roll the ones.
Oh, you do. So you are really good at rolling ones.
I
So
know.
they're both d6s. So it doesn't matter
Yeah.
which one you want to re-roll. So let's go ahead and re-roll.
I can
D6.
re-roll both actually.
Oh, can you really? So re-roll a 2d6 for me.
Ooh, that's
Ooh.
much
All right. So
better.
now your
My
mid is
mid.
going to be 6.
-2.
-2 is going to be a 4. The action succeeds, but with a minor twist. You have
I'm
taken
gonna
care
take
of.
it.
You have taken care of this. So before I give you the twist, walk me through. You're up on this thing. You can hear the screeching coming from the PA system. You look and see the speakers that it's coming from and the wires that connects them all.
I grab the wire and I start absorbing the electricity. I'm gonna convert that electricity into more light,
Oh, I like that.
so
I
you
need to
can
think-
see better.
So he's going to end up with a minor twist. And I think I'm going to make it do me a favor real quick, Benjamin or Beacon. Get rid of those 2 hinders. Those are gone. I'm going to give you a new hinder. It's going to be a -1 hinder as the twist. What do we think we want to call that -1? What's going to make it harder for Beacon to act on his next act, do we think, is this minor twist? What should he call the -1? Anybody have ideas?
I'm providing more light, and as I gaze down, I see all those people that are kind of in the middle of our battle. So I'm upset or concerned.
I think overwhelmed. How about
Overwhelmed.
overwhelmed? -1 overwhelmed. You realize as you light up this beacon hall, hall more, you realize the chaos that's under you, everything that's going on. You're 16 years old. You might be super smart, but this is still too much. So let's give you a -1 overwhelmed.
Yeah, I got it.
All right. Talk to me. Who are we going to hand off to now?
Well,
It's the end of the turn.
Yeah.
Environment.
So it is time for the
Well,
We solved
environment.
one
Environment.
problem.
Let's take a look and see what the environment is still in green.
Mhm.
I think we start to see the crowd getting agitated. So people are going around, they're bumping everybody. It's going to try to hinder all of you using the crowd as just being distracting, bumping into you, people are falling over, so on and so forth. So it's going to use its 3 dice. And I need everybody to give me a -2 hinder called the crowd.
Is the earache gone for everybody, by the way?
I'm sorry.
Or the penalty we got for the high-pitched noise or for the
that is now gone. Yes.
Okay, good.
Okay,
good, good.
so
Yep,
get
that's
rid of
been
that.
resolved by Benjamin or by Beacon.
Okay.
Okay, what was the name? Crowded?
Call it the crowd.
The crowd.
So just the
Do I
general chaos.
still get it because I'm up there?
For you, it's a matter of just the fact that now people are starting to hurt themselves and hurt each other
True.
with everything that's
Yeah.
going on.
So
right?
it's still the crowd.
So if anything, for you, it may not be a physical hinder as much as it's going to be a distraction and a concern. Okay. We are now in yellow.
No.
Fun.
And it was Beacon who went last. So Beacon, you can do anything but pick yourself.
Oh, who do we want? I'm looking at JJ.
It's fine.
No.
I-
I think Silent Tempest.
All right. Tempest is going to go next. Tempest, you have been struggling. You have seen
Yeah.
Beacon, Prophet, Midnight Warden. They're making an impact. You've only just really, you haven't even started yet, but now you have unlocked your yellow abilities.
Yeah. Okay. I'm
So
Not doing
real quick, great thing in the chat. The crowd going nuts should be called -1 Black Friday. Phenomenal.
that's great.
Good timing. Good timing.
Yeah, chat's coming through once again.
All right, Silent Tempest, you throw this thing. Everything's going around. Now the crowd is starting to bump into you and really starting to get it disjointed. We've got Tech Rat still tussling with Midnight Warden. We've got Prophet on his back. You hit you hit Circuit Breaker, but she is now starting to float back up again.
Yes. Okay, this is gonna be great. What I am going to do is I am going to use Catalyst of Change.
Ooh, what does
I'm
that
not
do?
doing much, but what I can do is boost all nearby allies using transmutation, using my max plus mid die, and I hinder myself with my min die.
Oh, all right. So you're going to use transmutation here,
hmm
and somehow it's going to help your 3 allies and hinder you. Before we roll and see what happens, what is Silent Tempest doing right now?
Okay. Kind of. I don't enjoy crowds. So this is the worst thing that can happen. My abilities are destructive. So people can get hurt from them. So what I am doing is trying to go into myself and raise up where my teammates are so they're more above the crowd, not being impacted. It's not going to help with like emotional damage, but you know. But at
What
least
really does?
physically,
Mm.
yes. And
So
that
it's-
is leaving myself opened.
It takes a lot of energy. You have to almost close your eyes to be able to do this level of transmutation where you're allowing the floor and the beams around them to lift them up and to give them a higher ground advantage. So the power's got to be transmutation. What is your quality?
I would like to use conviction.
Beautiful. Let's do it.
And
And you should now have your yellow status die.
So it's not happening automatically.
You
Probably
should be able to
because my
select it,
health-
right?
Ye-
Let's take a look. Hold on.
Yeah, you can
No.
click on it if you want.
Can I?
Yeah.
Let me
Normally.
X out of it. Okay, I got it.
You got it?
I was
Yep,
in
I
edit
got you.
mode.
You're good.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. That
give it a
makes
roll.
more sense.
God bless you, Silent Tempest. So with that 2, you're going to give everybody a +1. So I need Midnight Warden, Prophet, and Beacon. You can do one of 2 things. If you've already got a -1, just get rid of it. If you've got any other minuses, just drop them by 1 for me, okay? But this is going to
Okay.
be plus, and if you don't have any hinders, it's +1 higher ground. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And that will help because it will be max plus mid die.
Oh, you're right. It's
To
max
boost them.
plus mid.
Six.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
so
So that's
more than that.
6. That actually is going to turn into a +2.
Excellent.
And then your hinder is off based off of the min. That's only a -1 hinder. Let's call it -1 eyes closed.
Okay.
So we get plus. Oh, okay. We can remove like the crowd, which is -2.
Yep, whatever you want to do. You got +2, so you can get rid of some hinders in this situation. So very interesting thing about this game. When I read this game, I discounted the hinder and the boost aspects of this game, but because it's literally plus and minus to your effect die, hinders and boosts I think are the secret to this game. So that's what I love. Silent Tempest now has done a huge area effect to get rid of a ton of useless actions, and because of the scene tracker, you don't have any actions to waste. So that is very cool. Silent Tempest, who are you handing off to?
Is Tech Rat still here?
Everybody under ready. If you go take a look at the scene tracker, everybody under ready is here. So yeah, Tech Rat is tussling with Midnight Warden.
I'll give it to Tech Rat.
All right, Tech Rat is going to go next. You have been appearing and disappearing over and over again, Midnight Warden.
Yep.
And I think Tech Rat is a little freaking annoyed.
Well, that makes 2 of us.
So he turns to you. He goes, heroes everywhere, but not a brain among you. And he's leaping to jump on you and scratch you with his claws.
Not this face.
He rolls his D8. He rolls a 6. You're going to take 6. Oh, no, wait. He was at a minus. He's at like minus. Like,
Yeah. He has plenty minus, right?
I think, didn't he end up at -5? You're only going to take 1.
I think even more.
I think
Okay.
it's more.
No damage. He clauses you. His hinders are gone. He clauses you. Why does he not cut your face?
I think when he tries to cut my face, this is what's happening that hasn't been seen. You haven't seen it before, but now that I'm in a yellow zone, he tries to go for my face, and as he tries to scratch into it, it's just like trails of smoke where it hits my face, like these like shadows swirling in these cuts, and then they disappear as if they hadn't been there before. But that's essentially what happens.
And he purposely was going to try to scratch and jump over you at the same time. So he scratches and flips over you, and he's looking at his claws, expecting to see blood off of your face. He knows you. He knows you scratched your face. He's very, very confused. Tech Rat is going to hand it off to you, Midnight Warden. You're up next. He's flipped over you, has not hurt you, but all of his hinders are gone.
Okay.
Yo, Midnight, are you finally gonna make him disappear?
Stop joking around.
Am I still gonna get paid for this? I better be. So I have a quick question about what is her name?
Catherine Kahn?
The
Circuit Breaker.
Circuit Breaker.
Circuit Breaker. Circuit Breaker. Does Circuit Breaker have any penalties on her as of right now?
She does not.
Okay. So I don't want to play with the rat anymore. This is I had enough of this pest. So what I'm gonna do, I'm like next to like a booth with like CRT monitors, and it's just like cables. So I just rip a bunch of cables out, and I'm going to use Tangled Threads. Destroy all bonuses and penalties on a target, then hinder that target using teleportation using your max die. So I want to teleport over to Circuit Breaker, and I want to wrap cables around her to hinder her. With
I
my
love that so
teleportation.
much. So really the first part of that ability you're not going to use, right? Because she doesn't have any
Yes,
boosts or hinders
correct.
on her. But that second piece using your max die, that's a big deal.
That's what I wanted. Yep.
So your power is teleportation. What's your quality?
My quality. Oh, I'm going to go for creativity this time.
Absolutely love that.
Yeah.
And your yellow die?
That is a 8. So that
do
brings us to 12, 10, and 8. Let's do it.
All right, your mid is a 3, which gives her a -1.
Oh well.
What do we want to call her -1 hinder?
I think plugged in.
All right. So you come and you wrap the cables around her. Who are you handing off to?
I'm going to hand it off to, who do we have in the line? I think I'm going to hand it off to Beacon.
Beacon. As you're lighting
Um,
up, as you're getting stronger as we're going through this, you're getting brighter after absorbing the PA and getting rid of that screeching noise. There were people will thank you later. They're too scared to thank you now, but now they can at least hear themselves think. You're still up on those rafters watching the chaos below. Tech
Yeah.
Rat has jumped over Midnight Warden. Midnight Warden is done with him. So he's focusing on Circuit Breaker and he's tying cables around Circuit Breaker. Poor Prophet was on his back, but thanks to Silent Tempest, he's been boosted back up onto his feet again. What are you going to do?
Is Circuit Breaker floating? Is she still flying?
Barely. So she's just barely. She may be like two or three feet above. And I want you to imagine this blue lightning that's coming off of her power suit, almost working like a Doc Ock legs. And just she's able to manipulate and move herself with this lightning.
I'm gonna run a bit and jump and try to grab her. I'm gonna use energy drain once I.
Can you read energy drain?
Attack using absorption. Hinder that target using your max die.
This is gonna neuter her big time. So we're using absorption. What is your quality?
Huh. How about Beacon?
You have a quality called Beacon?
Yeah.
What's it mean?
I'm trying to show the crowd that we're taking care of it, so they reassured.
Everybody's gonna be safer.
Yeah,
I like it. So Beacon, and what's your status die? It's still now it's yellow. What's your yellow status die?
D8. Oh, this is gonna
very nice. And we're gonna use your.
I've got a -1 overwhelmed.
So we're gonna be -1 to your max.
Oh, no ones this time.
Beautiful. You roll 7 is your effect die, right? Because it uses your max. So you're gonna be
at max and attack at mid.
All right. So you're gonna do 6 damage to her. This is gonna hurt. This is a good roll.
Yeah.
You've got her down to 45, and you're gonna put on with a 7. You're gonna give her a -2. So I want to talk about the hinder first. What do we want to call that -2 hinder that she's now got? As you grab onto her and you're using absorption. How about drained?
Yeah.
Drained. So you're pulling some of that electricity. We see that instead of her being able to manipulate herself with that electricity, all of a sudden she's now like the electricity dims and there's less of it as you jump on her and just collapse her to the ground itself and do a good bit of damage. Well done, Beacon. Beacon, where are we headed? Who's up next?
I think Prophet deserves some payback.
I'm just
Prophet,
trying to
you're
protect
boosted
us
to your
from
feet.
our-
You see Beacon launch himself off of the rafters. He's now taking care of your main focus, which has been Circuit Breaker. He's jumped on her, and you see her power being drained and pulled into Beacon as that's happening. Midnight Warden and Silent Tempest both have been focused on her as well. Nobody's paying attention to Tech Rat. What is Prophet going to do?
I walk over to Circuit Breaker slowly, and halfway between there and her, my bat is on the floor that I picked up. And I pick the bat up. You hear it dink as I hit it against the metal bars next to me. And I am going to slam it down into her chest to break the tech off of her. That hopefully will stop her from doing this. So I'm going to use, I'm not using a power. I'm just going to use signature weaponry, which is my bat.
Okay.
And I am going to use imposing just as this big figure coming over with a baseball bat.
Love it.
And yeah, let's
your status die. So we're going to take the mid, and this is how much damage we're looking at. Well, okay. Yep. Ooh, 2 damage.
That's not
so
good.
you slam her with a bat.
It's plus my -3, so it's actually -1.
All right. Good news is the bat slams her, but we see the lightning jump to the metal bat, and we see it bouncing back to her and starting to recharge her back up again. The good news is clear all those hinders, right? So you got that taken
Yeah.
care of.
Yep.
All right. It is now her turn. Circuit breaker is up. She pushes Beacon off of her as she starts to get recharged thanks to the metal bat that you brought close to her. And she is pretty singularly focused on you, Prophet, because you have been getting the most of her attention. And she goes, "Do you feel that hum in your bones? That's power. That's me. You're just here for the static cling." And she is going to, what is she going to do? She is going to, she's going to use her ability called Electro Leeches. Hinder using gadgets and use your max plus mid dice, or use your max die and make it persistent and exclusive. So you see there's been like this design pattern on her power suit of these kind of oblong cylinders, and she snaps and you see electricity pop off of her fingers as she snaps, and these electronic leeches pop off of her power suit and go onto your beautifully bare chest, and they start to dig into your flesh as they come there. So she's going to hinder using gadgets. And this is going to be technology quality. And all right, so raise your hand if you got a hinder. 1, 2. All right, with 2 heroes, she only gets a D8 instead of a D10.
And she has a bunch of hinders on her, right?
Yeah.
She has a -1, I think.
I gave her a -2.
Oh no, she's
So-
-3. You're exactly right.
Minus
So her
three.
mid is a 6, -3. So let me clear those out. So her effect die is only 3. It's a -1 stings as these leeches are digging into your bare flesh.
As I'm pulling them out, I'm like, what are these things called? The ticklers?
All right. So let's go back to the scene. We are now well in to our tech expo gets to go. What is going to happen? We're now in yellow. That is probably going to be a problem. All of you look over and you see this booth for one of the CRT monitor companies. And they're obnoxious because they knew there'd be a lot of places selling monitors. So they built this booth to be like 15 feet tall with shelves after shelves of CRT monitors. So I'm going to add a new challenge. It's 2 boxes. It's called Who Built This? The booth for a company selling computer monitors is starting to collapse. Shelves are cracking and screens will be falling. So before we finish this scene, I need 2 overcome actions to stop these monitors from falling on to the crowd of people to hurt them. So now you've got 3 things to focus on: Tech Rat, Circuit Breaker, and a 2-box overcome for Who Built This? We're still in yellow. Circuit Breaker got to go last. She's got to give it to Tech Rat. Tech Rat is offended, Midnight Warden.
Oh, yeah.
He's offended by the fact that you are ignoring him. Now, he understands that he's not as a big a threat or as a big a deal as Circuit Breaker is, but for you just to walk away and focus on her, that's not okay. And he's going to leap with his steel tail and try to slam you with that steel tail.
Uh-huh. How's that going to work?
He's only going to do 1 damage to you. So you tell me what that looks like. As we see Tech Rat leaping through the air and the steel tail coming down to swipe at you, you're going to get hurt just a little.
Yeah, just a tiny bit. That's okay. I think he leaps up, and I react a little bit too late, but I just step aside, like like a sidestep. It hits me on the arm, like you can see it like tear into the suit, and I was like, "Your tech is outdated." I got nothing better. I'm really trying here.
Time for an upgrade.
Ooh, yeah. Clearly time for an upgrade.
All right, Tech Rat's going to hand it to you, Midnight Warden. Let's keep the momentum going. So
All
it
right.
goes to you, Midnight Warden. What are we doing?
So what I actually want to do, good that I'm going like early, because I want to boost my friends with Smoke and
Ooh.
Mirrors. It's a yellow ability. Boost any number of nearby targets using intuition. Use your max die. And I think how that's going to look is I'm going to remember, I'm going to think of last year, how I caused a lot of electronic damage because I had a trick with a water bucket on stage and it fell over, and Justin was real angry. So I remember that, and I just like calling out, they could use a cold refreshment.
I love that Midnight Warden tries to have like a catchphrase and tries to be like,
but it's right now it's really failing because I'm like hurting, and there's just these black like things that just, like,
absolutely love it. Like, I didn't write a script for this. I normally my
I have
act
no
is
idea what to do
scripted.
anymore. Yeah, like I had my whole act plan out, and then this rat comes by, and anyway, yes,
Oh, I
I
love
use
it.
that. So I use intuition, which is a D10. Do I also use a quality for that?
It's always going to be 3 dice. It's always
Yes,
going to be a
okay.
power, a quality, and a status.
Well, that is obviously going to be leadership as a quality. So we're going to have a 12, an 8, and an 8.
So before we roll,
Yeah.
Z, I want to understand what was Midnight Warden doing to
Mhm.
boost his friends or their friends? Using your intuition.
Yeah. So intuition, my idea is that we shouldn't just fight them head on. We should, like use water or something to short circuit them essentially. Like play into the environment or use what we have here, right?
What's
That's
the
my idea.
power you're using? Midnight
The
Warden?
power I'm using that I have to use, I'm pretty sure, is intuition.
All right, and what is the quality you're thinking?
I could say creativity again, but I want to say leadership because I'm like trying to encourage them to use that. But I mean, it might be creativity. I have no problem using that. It's another 10.
Well, so the thought I have, and this doesn't,
Yes.
this is just me being collaborative with you,
Please.
is you getting everybody wet, right? Like you,
Phrasing.
you. PG-13, sir.
Yes.
So you are going to douse them all in water, realizing that between Tech Rat and between Circuit Breaker, maybe making everybody a little more conductive could be
Yeah.
helpful. That's one thought I have.
That could backfire, but it's.
It could.
I mean, absolutely.
making
Yeah, it could very
everyone-
much backfire.
everyone
It's
more
like, oh, yeah, let's
conductive.
make everyone, soak
Let's put
everyone
water
with the
on-
villain with electricity on her. I'm sure it's gonna go.
The future of Fish Tank's booth is right next to you.
The future of fish tanks. Oh, I can see it with like plastic fish for the demonstration.
There's these little crappy plastic fish.
Yes, it's one of those where the background rotates around with like a night lamp. It's the future of fish technology. Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
that's amazing. So you're going to boost with your max die.
Yes. That's the plan. So it's going to be a 10, I guess, in that case. Oh, wait, my max die is the ability from that I have selected, or
So the ability is going to require you to use something. It
Right.
sounds like the
so
power
it's
is
a 10.
intuition,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you
So it's a
understanding
D10,
how
yeah.
electronics and water work together. Leadership is you're gonna yell something out, and I'll make you yell it based on the quality of the effect, giving instructions to the rest of your
Mhm.
team and leading the team in this situation.
Okay.
And then the status die takes care of itself.
All right. I'm gonna let's roll it. It's a 10, an 8, and an 8. I have
Nice.
a -3.
This will be at a -3, okay? So you're gonna end up with a 2 because your
Mhm.
mid die is no, it's max die. 10 -3, it's a 7.
Very good.
Everybody gets a +2 conductive. And you can
love
use
that.
that to either get rid of a hinder or just add the plus. Midnight Warden, I gotta hear this. The fish tank is right there. How do we get water on everybody?
How are we going to get water on everybody? I think since it's intuition, that's really difficult. How do I get water from a fish tank onto all my
And feel free to use teleportation for this,
Yeah.
right? Just because it wasn't teleportation that allowed you to accomplish this, it
Mhm.
was your intuition that did.
I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to like stick both of my hands into the fish tank, and you can see just these black tendrils like come in there, and the water level like sinks rapidly, like just in like 2 seconds it goes down and then just splashes, probably much to the dismay of my colleagues, splashes them in water.
So all three of you are standing there, and all of a sudden, zap! Midnight Warden's there, throws water on you. Zap! Midnight Warden's there, throws water on you. You are soaking wet. Who's going next, Midnight Warden?
That must look. I'm going to hand it off to. I have to hand it off to Justin because Justin probably looks great, shirtless and just.
Prophet is
rat.
gleaming.
I am wiping all of the water that is just spraying off.
Prophet, you're up. What are you going to do? So, Prophet, let's talk real quick. What is your hinder boost situation?
So right now I'm at +1.
Okay.
I'm at +1.
And just so you guys know, like when you get your boosts, like you get +1, +2, +3, if you do an attack, that's added to your damage, right? Your effect die is your damage.
And what I would like to do is I would like to take a risky action at this moment.
So with a risky action, you're going to get a minor twist, but you can tap into your next level ability. So you're going to try to use a red ability here?
Correct.
Ooh, what is the red ability?
So I am done with this water. I'm done with tangling people with cords. This just needs total brute force right now. So again, I'm going to go over to Circuit Breaker, and I am going to use my It's the Bomb, which is my red ability attack using strength. I use my max, mid, and min dice. And I take a minor twist. So I'm just going to go over there, and someone tried to make a new style of vending machine that doesn't shake up your soda as it falls down and hits the bottom. It's got like just egg crate foam stuff or like something dumb. Like it's ridiculous. I'm gonna lift up this soda machine and just slam it on top of her.
Beacon pulls himself away. She's standing there, zapped, kind of floating up a little bit, and you just come with a huge vending machine and you're slamming it on her. We're going to add all three of these dice together. So you're using strength as your power. What is your quality?
Imposing as my quality. Again, this
Love
figure walking, holding a giant soda machine above his head. And then obviously
This would be a great time to roll high. Prophet.
Yes. I'm going to try. Oh my God. Come on.
Okay, 13 damage is still 13
But
damage.
still,
That's going to be 30. That drops her down to 32.
Do the bonuses do anything?
I have
Yeah,
+1. I have +1.
31. Yep. So clear out that bonus. That's 31 damage. You slam this down on top of her. And for a second, all of the blue ambient light that we've gotten so used to in this scene goes black. The only light we have is from Beacon, who keeps, as things are going, as Beacon is absorbing more from her and absorbing more from the PA system, Beacon's getting brighter and brighter, but suddenly all the blue light is gone until we see the tendrils of the black electricity come up and start to lift the vending machine off. You did some serious damage. My question to you is, who are you going to hand this off to, Prophet? You've got Silent Tempest, Beacon, and Circuit Breaker.
So more importantly, is that the twist?
I've got to give you the twist. That's right. It's a minor twist.
And
Give
the
it- give me-
the bomb also, I have to take a major twist.
Oh, the bomb forces you to take a major
Yes,
and a minor?
Minor because of the risky action.
I owe you 2 twists here, and I want to
Yes.
tap into your principles. Can you go to your principles real quick and tell me what each of your principles are and what their minor twists are?
So principle of team. So the team takes up a significant portion of my life, and I have an official position in it. I'm kind of the leader, sort of monetarily, and I'm probably the oldest guy. A minor twist there is, what embarrassment did you just cause as a representative of my team? A major twist would be, what minor sanctions will you suffer as a result of your actions?
I don't think either of those fit. I don't like either of those. Let's go to your other principle.
My other principle is tactician. I'm constantly assessing the situation, making plans and backup plans, and then reassessing the situation. Minor twist, what one variable did your plan not account for? That could work.
That's your minor.
And then
your major.
Okay. And major twist, what major threat is revealed that invalidates all of my plans?
I'm going to keep the major for mine, but I do like that minor. So the way so each of my 4 players have picked 2 principles that kind of are their focus as heroes and in their alter egos as well. And with them comes some role-playing tips, but also comes minor and major twists. So let's read that minor one more time, and you need to answer that question.
What one variable did your plan not account for? So my plan of just attacking head on and hitting her with the giant machine. I didn't account for that the person who was displaying this machine had a very large dry cell battery under the table that was connected to the machine, and this actually helps her with a one-time jolt of energy that she can tap into this stored energy.
Absolutely love it. I'm going to give her a D8 boost.
Okay.
That hurts.
Oh,
plus
fresh battery.
3.
Fresh
Battery. 3 boost. That's really good. She gets a plus 3 charged boot.
Bring it.
Charge boost. Now for your major twist. So as the tendrils come up and I'm changing the narrative a little bit. They throw this vending machine off of her like it's made of paper mache. It just goes flying and ends up getting lodged in one of the beams up above. She stands up and you see suddenly more decoration on her powered suit breaks off. And they end up being these winged beetles. So I'm adding a new threat. The new threat to the scene, and I'm going to add it to the thing, is a minion group. And that minion group is called the Bite Bugs. And we just see these little beetles, these electronic robot drone beetles fly out from her. So now we've got Tech Rat, Bite Bugs, Circuit Breaker, and we still have done nothing about that booth that's falling apart and the monitors falling on top of people. So I'm going to go to our scene. We're going to add Bite Bugs.
How many are there?
It's abstracted. But I can tell you that the Bite Bugs are...
They're not minions.
They are. They're D4 minions, which means they're basically, if you hit them once, they're going to go away. You just need to hit them once. So they're not a big deal, but... All right, that was Prophet's action. You did a ton of damage, but you also paid the price for it a little bit. You boosted her up. She is not happy. Who are you handing it off to? Silent Tempest, Beacon, Circuit Breaker, or the Bite Bugs?
Circuit Breaker.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have to take a look here. Let's take a look at Circuit Breaker.
I am beating things with my bat to make her come after me. This is not how it was planned to go.
So you see these beetles fly off of her and they cloud it, and then they're spreading around, and she goes, "That's not enough." And she's going to use her ability. Luckily, I made more. Replenish your minion
sweet.
squad up to the number of heroes. So
Mm.
she's going to create 4 more of those minion squads.
Ooh, I
So
got
now
lots.
we have got 5 of these things flying around. Now, granted, they're only D4s. They're going to be easy to take care of, but each one of those 5 things is now in action. Heroes, you're in a pretty bad spot.
Oh, gee, thanks. Thanks for the vote of confidence.
I'm not worried.
Yeah, no, me neither.
Breaker's going to hand it off to the bite bugs.
Okay.
The first set of bite bugs are going to attack Prophet. Prophet, those bite bugs come down on you and you feel the needles going into your skin as these bugs start covering your body. I need you to take 3 damage.
Ouch.
The next set of bite bugs, they go. Go ahead.
Real quick, I have
Yeah.
a reaction.
Oh, what's your reaction?
So as they bite me, I literally swat them while they're biting me and crush them into myself,
What's the
using
reaction called?
right back at you. When I am attacked by an enemy, the attacker also takes an equal amount of damage.
So they gave you 3 damage. They're going to
Yes.
take 3 damage. They
Yes.
need to save. They need to roll a 3 or a 4 or they're done.
Ooh.
Boo.
And they roll a 4. So you're swatting and crushing
I only
some
got
of these,
one,
but
yeah.
more of them are coming on top of you as you go.
Yeah.
Silent Tempest, as you're standing there in the middle of the room being lit by beacon, and now the blue of Circuit Breaker is back. You see these bugs flying like a swarm outside of Circuit Breaker, and they're going to latch onto you and do 4 damage as they start their little needles pierce into your skin. Beacon, the same thing is happening to you. You also are taking 4 damage. Geez, these are some good bites.
Okay, 2 things. I
Please.
reduced damage by 2.
I'm sorry.
I reduced the damage by 2.
Oh, let's read that ability. It's an innate ability, isn't it?
Yeah. Energy dispersion field. Reduce any physical or energy damage you take by 1 in the green zone, 2 in the yellow, 3 in the red zone.
Very nice. So as these things are biting into them, some of them are getting overcharged by the energy coming out of you, and they're popping.
I've got a reflection, so that 2 damage, I'm like sending it back to it.
So let's read your reaction ability. What's it called?
Energy deflection. When you would be dealt damage, you may deal damage to a nearby target equal to the amount reduced by your armored ability. So I
you
reduced
reduced
2,
by 2. So
and I do 2 damage.
All right, let's see if it takes one of them out. It does. So
I
we're
have a
now
question.
down to just 4. The 4th one is going to, I think.
Wait.
So who have I not hit yet? Have I
I
hit?
haven't.
Yeah, Midnight Warden. These bugs
Yeah.
start to fly over to you. They're going to do 3 damage as they start to latch onto you and pierce your skin.
Okay.
But luckily, I don't have my 5th one to do a hinder because of what Beacon did. Let's go back.
I have a question about reactions.
Let's hear it.
So I have something when one of my bonuses, penalties, or other creations of my powers is destroyed, deal target damage equal to the roll of your transmutation die. My suit is created for my transmutation. Would that count? Or would
So
it more something that I control?
So
or made on the
mechanically,
battlefield?
let's talk about the trigger. If I'm understanding the
Mhm.
trigger right, Silent, you need to have your abilities destroyed. So do you currently have, is it both hinders or boosts or both? What needs to be? and
Nope, it would not count.
Okay.
It would not count.
Watch for it, right? If
Okay.
as you destroy them, we're going to use that reaction because you get 1 reaction per round. So just hold on to it. The bite bugs have gone. Beacon, they're all over you right now. Let's talk about what the situation is. We've got the booth with the falling monitors. That's 2 overcomes that need to get rid of that. And we're almost halfway through the scene. You have got Circuit Breaker. She's hurt by Prophet, angry, but she's still around. We've got Tech Rat, who nobody seems to be paying attention to, but we need to downgrade his die and get rid of him. And you've got these bite bugs. There's 4 of them you got to get rid of.
I'm gonna look at Prophet, and I'm like, what did you do? And I jump to grab like her leg or something, and use energy drain again.
Ooh, I love it. So let's read energy drain again for everybody.
Attack using absorption. Hinder that target using your max die. So I'm gonna use absorption, and this time I think close combat.
Love it.
Yellow is the 8. So I get and I have I'm still conductive. So I do +2. So would that be 7 damage?
Well, it uses your max die, right?
Max die is hinder. So I hinder her with 6. That would be -2.
All right, so let's do it step by step. So
okay.
The attack, what's the attack?
Attack is mid die.
All right, so it's gonna be 5, and you're at a +1 or +2?
+2.
All right, so it's gonna be 7 damage.
Yeah.
So that puts her at 24, and then you get to then hinder her.
Yeah, 6.
With your 6
yeah.
plus the +2.
Is that only on the damage?
It's all your effect die. So you have 2 effect die on this ability, right? So now you're at an 8. That's going to be a -3. Her charged goes away. So you've eliminated her charged. So which makes sense with the absorption, right? So let's walk through this. She is glowing with a blue electricity at an intensity you haven't seen before. You stand there, and you are not only going to do a decent amount of damage to her, but you're going to pull back all of the charged bonuses that she had.
Yeah. So I grabbed her by the feet, and I tried to yank her down, and I'm soaking, so maybe the conductivity is better, and I dissipate the energy into more light.
And so we've seen some yellows and oranges coming from you, Beacon, as you've been going through, but now suddenly we're seeing these tendrils, these blue electrical tendrils coming out of her, being pulled into Beacon. And suddenly Beacon has a certain bluish hue as you start absorbing her electricity. That's really cool. All right, that was Beacon. Now we got to go to Tempest. Tempest, you are last up.
Okay. So we have to overcome the environment, and I'm the only one with actions left. Is it possible for me to get 2, or is that a no?
That just needs to happen before the end of the scene.
Got you, before then.
Right?
Okay.
So not this round, but at some point, you guys have to check 2 overcome boxes before those monitors start to hurt people. But they're starting to, so you're seeing the shelves kind of go, and the monitors are sliding down, and of course, there's children. They're on there like they're hiding under one of the tables, and they're just hoping that some hero somewhere, hopefully from the furnace, was be able to save them before CRT monitors, really heavy for you young kids, fall on top of their heads.
Absolutely. That is like a next turn thing. So this turn.
Yeah.
That's a tomorrow problem.
No rush.
They're fine right now. I am going to use chain reaction. I attack multiple targets using weather. Use your mid die against each target. Take irreducible damage equal to your mid die. I am attacking all of the enemies.
Dang.
And you will see it. Instead of electricity, quickly thought about that. That would be stupid. It's strong gust of wind that is precisely hitting them.
Somehow, like, we start to all of you start to feel the air move around you. And for the villains and for all of the attendees, they're like, who turned the AC on? Oh, that's more than AC. But the other 3 of you know exactly what's happening right now as Silent Tempest is starting to control the movement of air. So the power,
weather,
quality,
Whew, it's I'm thinking conviction
So
or
we picked
hardened.
well, and I think this is interesting, right? Because this taps into who
Right.
Silent Tempest is. When she is driven to act by conviction or driven to act by hardened, what's the difference and what fits here?
I Okay, so a conviction would be where she's at now in life and trying to do better. Harden is more so steeling herself against the things that's going wrong. So I would say Harden would fit better in this case because I could be helping people, but instead I'm just attacking.
Mhm. And who knows, this winds could hurt other people, but you are hardened, a former villain, and you are just like, this is a problem. And never went. I mean, Silent Tempest could solve it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just easier that way.
So you're attacking everybody with
Yes,
this roll
I
using your mid.
yes. I'll be at a -1
Okay.
due to eyes closed.
All right. Let's make sure you clear it after your roll. So you're gonna do 4 damage to everybody.
Mhm.
Here's what's cool. Let's go one by one through it. Tech Rat has a D8. He needs to roll a 4 or higher or degrade his die. He's able to
This
withstand the winds blowing him around. His
freaking
metal
rat.
tail latches on to one of the tables that are bolted down, and he doesn't get blown away. Let's now go to our bite bugs. Our bite bugs all have a D4, which means there's no way they're going to roll a 5. So
have
real
they-
quick, you're going to take out every freaking one of these bugs that are swarming around. This is huge.
Huge.
What's that look like real quick? Silent.
They crash into someone else's creation. Just crushing.
And you knock Circuit Breaker into the second tank of the future of fish tanks, and that water pulls some of her electricity out of her, doing 4 damage. She only has 20 hit points left.
And then you also see me kind of bump into something.
Yeah, your hinder is based off of your min.
That I just take damage.
Ooh, how much?
Also 5.
What is your health right now?
I'm at a cool 26.
So this is super interesting to me, Silent Tempest, because you are commanding the winds, the weather, and you are taking out all of these annoying beetle contraptions of hers, knocking Circuit Breaker into the other aquarium. How is it hurting you?
I am not protecting myself from also getting knocked into things. I'm just a casualty of the battle.
You're going to act first next round, but we have to see what the environment's going to do. So let me bring up my environment. We are in the yellow. I think I'm going to hinder everybody based off of the crowd, the noise, and the dangerous toys. So the Tech Expo is going to roll. Rolls a 5. I need everybody to take a -2 chaos. So just everything, the electronics, the crowd, all of the noise. Your next action is at a -2, which sucks. That's chaos.
Oh, I got
So
way more than that.
I'm telling you, the hinder and boost in this game is a
Oh, yeah.
big freaking deal. That is going to put us halfway into this battle. We're halfway through the scene tracker. Things could be better. Let's quickly assess it. Now, thankfully, Silent Tempest took out the annoying little bed bugs, but we still have Tech Rat. We still have Circuit Breaker. She's hurt. She's not in a great shape. And we've got those CRT monitors that are about to fall on to the science field trip kids that hid under the CRT monitor table. There's no way that table is going to protect them. All of that has to happen in the next 4 turns. We're going to go to credits and talk to the cast. We'll be right back. All right. So a few things. Lou, between the kind of the prologue that we saw for Midnight Warden that introduced Alex, right, and Alex's mother, we saw a whole thing with Grace and her family, and we also saw kind of Benjamin's situation. What was emotionally the biggest impact of the 3 of them for you?
The biggest one was honestly the family situation with like Tempest and Grace and everything. Only because that hits personally, because of like working parents and responsibility, and that was the one. It sounds minimal, but that's like real life to me.
I agree. So everybody add a hero point. So on your character sheet, add a hero point for that scene with how, not only I think how Grace handled the scene and the prologue, but I really liked, Grace, what you did with, or Dika, what you did with like during the battle and making sure, like, I think really where this hero point comes from is you making sure that your husband gets to you. So we've learned that Silent Tempest is kind of cold, kind of detached, but when it really mattered, you were not going to change form until you knew that your daughter was safe. So everybody gets a hero point for that. Z, I'm going to ask you the same question. Which, from a, not a battle situation, right? Of the 3 others, with the prologue and the battle here, emotionally, who had the biggest impact on you?
I mean, it would also have to go from the others, would have to go to Tempest, emotionally, most certainly, because it's just immediately there's like a tense situation going on. There's like, they clearly don't see eye to eye. There's this implied need, like, like this time it's not going to be like that, right? And I'm going to say like it had emotionally an impact, because every time he was saying something, it's like, oh no, he did. Oh no. Oh wow, okay, that's some attitude. So I was kind of like on Tempest's side there, but it was really cool then seeing the husband immediately like, it's okay, I'm going to take care of the kid. So it's just like, okay, it's not just black and white, and I really like that.
So Ethan is redeemed slightly for you.
I mean, he's not ruined in that sense, but I think that really like made it clear. It's like, okay, it's not that clear for me.
So each of you now have 2 hero points.
Oh, 2.
Yep, one for both of them coming from Silent Tempest and from Grace. So here's what's cool. In the lower right-hand corner of your character sheet, I'll bring up a character sheet so everybody watching can see. This is another really like small thing that's in this game that I absolutely love. Do you see where you have the opportunity to let's see, where is it? It is under It's not bonuses. Yes, under your hero points, you've got 2 of them, and then below that you see where it says rewards. Expand that out.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can either add 2 plus 1s or 1 plus 2. And what will happen next session, and you have to use it next session, is if you use either of your 2 plus 1s or your 1 plus 2 bonus, you have to refer to this issue. Because of what happened here, I get a bonus.
Can it be the entire issue or the scene in specific?
It's the whole issue,
Okay.
right? It's the entire issue. So each of you decide, are you going to give yourself 2 plus 1s or 1 plus 2? The bigger question is, this was issue 1 of our comic, and every comic has a title on the title page. We're going to create a back issue here. What do we think when we went to the splash page? And I think the splash page is when Circuit Breaker appeared, right? So we had all of this prologue that happened that came up to it, and then the activity in the comic, and we flipped the page. It's a double spread of Circuit Breaker appearing above this, and there's going to be text that names this issue. What do you think that is? Who's going to let's name this issue?
I'm going to throw out The Buzz because everyone's excited for the expo, and Buzz is like, you know,
It doubles, right?
Yeah.
Or,
But it could be a bit more dramatic.
Who has thoughts?
shocked to the core was the first thing that came in my mind.
All right, so we got
Yeah,
Buzz.
Something with shock.
Yeah.
What if
Thank
we
you,
do a
Dan.
play on
Help
words
us out
like
here.
shock and
We need a
shock
title
and
for
awe?
this comic.
Oh, I know.
Issue
I know.
number
Shocking
1.
news.
I want to do something with like electricity and technology so bad, and it's not clicking.
Okay.
Well, I don't think it's perfect, but I think shock and roll, but maybe something a little better, but shock and roll.
Got us.
Or...
Shock and tech.
Shock and tech. We got Circuit Breaker. We got these bite bugs. We've got Tech Rat.
Oh,
We've got
how
the
about-
Gizmo. Go ahead.
how about tech serviced?
Tech
Oh.
serviced.
Tech support.
Tech support.
Tech.
Are we good?
Win.
I mean, that kind of works.
That
A lot
So-
of tech.
You're a kid flipping through the comics, and
We
you
were using
go
a
to
lot
that
of tech.
spread, and you see Circuit Breakers appeared above the Tech Expo, and below it says in bold letters, Tech Support.
we did get a lot of support from everyone else's technology too.
Let's do it.
Supported.
So add to your back issues. Number 1, Tech Support. What will happen is if after 5 issues are created, it'll go into a collection. And this collection becomes a reusable boon that they can use every single issue. And this is really how advancement is handled in this game, is as you play more, you get more and more of these collections, and these collections are very powerful. They let you change the number of a die to any number you want. So you can take your D12 and go, now it's a 12 once per session for each of the collections that you have, which I can tell you right now is absolutely huge. So everybody add that back issue.
Okay.
Tech support, number 1. Now we're going to go to the regular Third Floor Wars routine. I'm going to start real quick. This is where the system shines, is in action scenes. It does a great job of creating tension. There's a doom clock involved. It is built for these types of action scenes. My little experiment, and we'll see if it's successful, is that I also want to add the social non-fight aspect to this game. We'll see if I'm successful with it or not. I loved the first hour that we played because I felt like we got a real taste of what each of these characters are when they're not wearing their masks. But for those of you watching these combats, because I'm not just going to go, you swing and you miss, you swing and you hit, you swing and you miss. I want this to feel like we're reading a comic book. They might stretch through several different issues. So let's start with you, Lou. First, thoughts, then stars and wishes. Thoughts should be, what are you thinking about the overall game, the overall system?
I like the idea of the 3 dice in the mid, and there's a weird kind of swing in there. And then when you get to pick your different powers and qualities, so you can kind of like narratively describe it each time. I wasn't picking my highest die every time. I mean, that's just kind of boring. So I was trying to make it go with the scene. The only thing is, I think there's a lot of hit points. Like, I think less hit points on both sides might make the battles quicker. I think that's the
No
only
question.
thing.
Yeah. No question,
So-
will make the battles quicker. One quick tip, though, is I've learned the hard way. Don't introduce more than one villain if you've got 4 or less players, because these villains come in with like 50 and 60 hit points. Like,
Yeah.
it takes, and they have a limited
It's
number
tough.
of
The
actions.
hinders, like that's huge, man. That
Hinders
that
and
hurts you
boosts.
real bad.
That's the secret sauce that you only see in play. You don't see when you're reading it. Star moment for you, Lou. At what point over the last 2 hours did this feel like you were reading a comic book or watching a Marvel movie that was actually good?
Throwing
In the
shade.
last decade.
That was phase
Hey,
one.
All right. This isn't one of those streams. All right. I think for the first time I'm gonna be like, it was me and my character.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I felt every time it was my turn, profit was being profit. Like, I stared at my character sheet, looking at the powers and qualities and the abilities, and it was there. Like, there was tons of choices. It was very flavorful. Just words like
agree.
conviction and vitality. That gives you a lot. It gives you a lot to think about what he's doing in that scene. So I was very happy with playing Prophet.
So Lou is not just somebody who plays on the channel. Lou comes to Camping for Gamers. Lou and I have become friends. And I honestly, most of the people we play with have become my friends as well. We have a beautiful community on the Third Floor Wars Discord and with this group. Lou, I've played many games with you online. I've also played far more of them offline with you. You have a gift of creating a context for all of your characters' actions. There was always this little Lou juice that you throw in there, and it was like the bat hitting the metal as you approached Circuit Breaker. There's these little things that you do that create a context. You just don't go, I'm going to hit her with a bat. And that's a gift you have. So I love that star. So what are you wishing for, Lou? What did you get this episode that you want more of going forward, or what was missing that you want to see?
I can't wait for the role playing after this is over. We've done a lot of combat, and I can't wait for us to deal with what happens, whether good or bad, whether we quote win or don't. I want to see the 4 of us deal with whatever is next without the dice. I think that's so exciting to me.
I think win or lose, this is super interesting for you guys. What is she doing here? What's going on right now? Who is Tech Rat? Why is this happening? Is there anything that we're going to do? There's going to be a whole investigative thing that happens after this. Why did she do this? And that's whether she wins or ends up losing here. It doesn't matter which. If she wins here, that's going to put you guys in a much worse spot. So if I haven't made it clear yet, you guys aren't in a good place right now. You're running out of scene tracker. You guys got to start getting your shit together. We need some better roles.
Hey, the good guys always don't win. I've read entire comic book series that
and honestly,
they're losing for 12 issues.
That's something that I love, is that even if the 4 of you lose here, you're a relatively new team. Circuit Breaker is a big bad. Super interesting.
Oh, and I want Midnight's mom to show up again. She was highly entertaining, and I need to hear more of that.
You need more Gertrude?
I do. I totally do.
Dan,
right.
Let's talk about thoughts. So this is from a system aspect and my approach to the game and the system itself. What is your thoughts on the game before we get to stars and wishes?
I kind of like the descriptive aspect of it. The
How so?
powers are, you've got abilities, but how you do it is through your powers and qualities. And I like that. I admit that Lou was really, really good at describing his thing. I'm gonna try to learn from him.
I almost feel like when you choose your powers and your qualities, now granted, usually one or the other is restricted based off of the ability you choose, right? So often when you choose an
True.
ability, it's going to force you to use a quality or force you to use a power. But regardless, you still get a choice elsewhere. I feel like they're almost action prompts. So you say, okay, here's my action. Here's my 2 prompts. I'm going to use intuition and leadership. Now I need to take those prompts and create the fiction, right? I need to
That's
make
true.
this work. So it's definitely, and if you want to just crunch it out and be super mechanical, just pick 2, roll, and we'll see what happens. What I really loved is the 4 of you just kind of grabbed onto making it comic book. So at what point, Dan, were you all in? When did you feel like this was a comic book?
Pretty much from the start. I
That's a
love
great answer.
this but I love the scenes with each characters. But as Lou said, I want to see more of us, the 4 of us, role play together. That's what I'm looking forward.
I think that the
Honestly.
4 of you together as heroes is definitely going to happen at the end of this scene, regardless of what happens. And I think either way, it's not gone great. Even if you end up succeeding by the time we get to that last red scene marker, there's a possibility Prophet has notes about the performance of the team itself.
Probably.
What are you
That's good.
wishing
That's
for,
good.
Dan? So what did you get this episode you want more of? And so is it just the role playing that you just want to see more of? Is there anything else that you are hoping to see more? Is there anything missing that you want that you didn't get to see from a superhero standpoint?
Well, I think interaction between us.
We
But
haven't seen
I
you as a
want,
team.
Yeah.
but I wonder if we should speak to each other more as we fight. But we're still a relatively new team, so maybe that will grow. But you can
And
see that we're not a well-oiled machine, and I think that's interesting.
I do too. And it's also a new table, right? As much time as
True.
the 4 of us or 5 of us have
Yeah.
spent together, you guys are going to learn each other as role players. So, but in the comics, we would expect more coordination, more quips back and forth.
Yeah.
Let's see if that happens. Thoughts, Dika?
Oh, I love it. That's so much fun playing this. This is great. I have a love-hate relationship with the hinder system. Because oh my gosh, it stacks. And I just keep giving myself more hinders. And I'm like, it's just gonna keep getting worse for me personally.
Tempest is super interesting. I want a lot more Tempest. And you being able to boost the way you did, taking out all the hinders on the rest of the team was a big deal, but it hurt you.
Because to be honest, my person doesn't boost. I just
Attack.
run in there. So having no,
Yeah.
when you were doing the boosting, I'm like, thank goodness, because I would just have so many negatives. It'd be ridiculous.
And she cleared out all the minions.
Oh,
So
that was crazy.
I cannot explain to you what a big deal that was, because each one of those could have been an action on the scene tracker for each one of you to take out those minions. And if any one of those stupid 5 minions survived all the way to the red scene, you're done. You lost. And
Had to go.
Silent Tempest taking them all out with one action, that was a BFD.
That was MVP.
I would say yes. MVP.
I don't disagree.
Action. Yeah.
I don't disagree. Stars, when were you all in?
Oh, I think from the very beginning. But I want to for sure give a shout out to when I don't know. There's just something about a failing magician that I love to see interact with their mother. It's like it was amazing. And it was like, okay, yes, I'm here. But everyone had that personal moment, and I was like, okay, our
It was
lives
great.
kind of suck a little bit, huh? Like, this hero stuff is really taking a lot of time out of us.
Z and I have played just a little bit together, and this is true of all of you, but it's something that was immediately apparent when I played with Z, is that I knew I could throw Z curveballs. And one of the big curveballs that happened with you and I in that scene was your comment about your father.
Yeah.
And my immediate reaction for Gertrude was to defend him. And I think it created a really kind of neat moment where she said back to you, he provided for us. She kind of like slapped you down a little bit. And that was one of those beautiful, like role-playing moments that I just,
Yeah, we hadn't
that's
talked
my,
about that at all before.
at all.
So it's suddenly it's an element, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's part of the beauty of this. So, Dika, what are you wishing for? More of something you got this issue, or something that's missing that you want to see in future issues?
So for sure, and I'll echo everyone, for sure, us interacting more with each other, because I don't even know how that's going to go. I think it's going to be great. I know we've discussed things, but I'm excited to actually do it. It's yeah. I'm excited.
I'm excited to see not the four of you fighting the same villain. I'm excited to see the four of you as a team, and we have not seen that yet. So I'm with you. Last but not least, Z, thoughts?
Oh, thoughts? I was ready for stars. Not the
It's thoughts, stars, and wishes every time, Z.
No, thought. Well, okay. Thoughts are that I think it really paid off. Like you can tell how the world creation and the character building really paid off in the beginning, because oddly enough, like when you started to bring up the scenes and the environment, I didn't feel how I sometimes feel when somebody describes an environment or describes a situation, little overwhelmed trying to like keep like, I try to imagine this and keep track of that. This felt all very like, oh yeah, I know where I am. I know who these people are. So I just get to, just enjoy it in the moment. I don't have to like write a ton of notes, right? That would be my thought. You could argue that's a star, but hey.
Well, I think what's interesting about it, and I'm glad, I really like, makes my heart bigger, because we spent a lot of time on both. I think we spent a lot of time on the setting, and for you to feel vested in the setting, and like the setting matters. I think the city is a big character.
Mm-hmm.
And
we're gonna see more of that, and it's gonna be great.
Yeah,
like this was the thinnest slice that we could have gotten of what is actually there, I think.
And then creating characters together at the table, I think, was also a big deal. So each of you were making your own roles, looking at your menus, picking your own things. But if you go back and look at part 2 of issue number 0, the crosstalk you guys had, the way you figured out your characters as they slowly evolved together, I think was a huge deal.
One thing to point out, though, because chat can't know, or the audience can't know, as soon as the episode was over, we were chatting back and forth in the chat. It was a little chaotic because we had to figure out who was who again, but we talked like a ton back and forth, and immediately came up with like, oh, we're gonna have this secret and this is going to be the situation. So that was super fun, because you could really tell everybody was really hyped, and just for everybody, for all of us as your players, we suffered waiting to play today. We suffered.
We were pretty
long,
excited.
Having 2 weeks between two of those, and every single time being excited it hurt.
It was tough. But boy, oh boy, what I loved the most, I think, Z, is that like I felt like I knew Warden, I knew Tempest, I knew Beacon, I knew Prophet. I learned more about them during the issue, but they weren't strangers to me when this issue started, which I think is pretty damn cool. Does that cover stars? Do you want to go right to wishes? Or do you have stars?
I still have my stars, and the stars I would like to give them between Gertrude and the interaction with Justin, because it was I feed on role play. That's my favorite part. And Gertrude was, I could tell you had so much fun just making me like, putting me like into this, like, oh, now I have to. I was getting like flashbacks here. Just like, oh, it was immediately relatable for me, because everybody had like some sort of conversation with their mother like this, and it's like, Mom, you don't just get on my back. And I could really tell you had just you wouldn't let me go, essentially.
Oh, I couldn't. I love Gertrude. I just met her and I love her.
And I had so much fun with Justin. Just the back and forth, the like, of like, can I use fire? Like, is that okay? Like, what about like this is just this is what I feed on.
It's S tier table, right? When we have a great table and you knew Z that you could throw Lou anything, and Lou would catch it and throw it right back to you, and that's
Just not
the
fire.
beauty of having what's that?
Just
Not fire though.
Oh,
Not fire.
and again, the two of you just like were riffing back and forth and grabbed onto a detail, and like we learned. And this is what I love is I love when we learn lore as we role play. So what did we learn? Is there could have been some Midnight Warden mistakes in the past during some magic shows
Oh,
and
there
some booth work.
there were.
And
oh,
kudos to Z for bringing it full circle with the water comment.
Oh,
You
well, I'm
brought
gonna
it.
have to give it to the audience, though. I am going to
Okay,
have to give it to
alright.
the audience because
Okay.
the audience remembered, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna use that.
Okay. Yeah.
Audience gets to play
Okay.
too, right?
No, it's
good.
great. That's
Um,
great.
So good.
For
So-
Wish, the same. Just to add the Wish on top of that, like I want to like interact with the whole group and just because I already have like feeling how certain things are gonna go, and it's just I'm so excited to interact with Tempest, like and the kid too, because I already know how I'm going to like handle that, and it's gonna be so great.
I love how distinct each of our characters are. We've
Yeah.
got this cold woman who used to be a supervillain who's now a superhero, and we see not only her struggles emotionally as a wife and a mother, we're seeing it as a superhero as well. Then we've got the 16-year-old kid who's got a big brain and a ton, like literally ton of power inside of him. He's a nuclear generator. Then we've got the big CEO built this incredible business who suddenly doesn't give a shit about making a profit. And now has like changed over, and this is a whole new world. I loved Lou, by the way, allowing me to have Catherine Kahn put some levity and you being so flippant about your company. Like that was pretty cool. And you reacted to it, right?
The
Like her
line
saying,
was so
yeah,
good.
you may not care, but there's thousands of people
And he was
who
like,
get paid.
huh.
Yeah.
You
And
make
did
it
a great
sound way less fun was the that was the best line. Like
Oh,
now it's just
Best
not fun
assistant
anymore.
ever.
You made this a lot less fun. And then we've got a super interesting struggling. How old do we think Alex is?
Alex, I think, is in his mid 30s. I think.
Oh,
Like
so
like
he
well,
is
maybe early mid 30s because like yeah, he moved out late and like he's just
He's
this might
much
make me
older
Team
than I
Gertrude.
thought.
Like if you were in your early 20s, I'd be Team Alex. But at this point, mid 30s, I'm kind of keen. I'm kind of Team Gertrude.
I mean
He was
Hey,
baby. They were babied. It's not their fault.
sure that might be what happened. I mean, I'm thinking early 30s because
I love
if
that.
if it's just mid 20s, then it's just like oh I'm still learning the ropes, but like that makes it even more.
It's sadder now.
I'm a bartender and I'm still trying
But-
to make this work, and like the mother's just like, well, why don't you just take the job? So
It's funny.
makes
It
it far
changes
more
how
I don't
Changes-
mind everybody being on Team Gertrude. Love that.
right.
community. Love that.
What were you going to say, Dan?
it's knowing that he's in his 30s changes my perception of him somewhat, I think. Yeah.
Good.
That's pretty cool. All right. So coming up as we go into the holidays, we've got this Saturday coming up, Trail of Cthulhu. You got to go catch up. This is probably right up there with Forbidden Lands, the most epic campaign that we've ever done on the channel. It is creepy as shit. I am not the GM. I am the player. And we're episode 15, 16 right now. Things are not going well. And True Cthulhu Faction, things are not going well. We've also got Blade Runner coming up next Monday. You do not want to miss that. And in 2 weeks, you don't want to miss us. So follow Patreon, blah, 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 blah. Real quick. I had built what we did today up pretty big. I think we nailed it. I'm really proud of us.
Good.
Yep,
I had fun.
that was great.
Howdy, friends. Thank you for watching. All our content is archived and organized in playlists on the Third Floor Wars YouTube channel. Check it out. And if you could like, follow, subscribe, and even set your notifications to this channel on YouTube and Twitch, we'd appreciate it, and it'll make sure that you catch all of our content. I talk with creators, designers, and experts across the gaming landscape in every episode of our podcast, Tabletop Talk. Open up your favorite podcatcher and search for Tabletop Talk from Third Floor Wars. Support your creators. They make the content you love, and it's your support that makes it happen. If you want to help us, go to Third Floor Wars on patreon.com, and you can help us for as little as $1 a month. Thanks again. We'll see you next time. Take care.